car's run pretty good, and we just brewed for 4 more years, and that's a long time with Busch Grand National Team. We're definitely looking forward to it.
Well, I know that while that program is something that's exciting to you, getting to victory lane here at Rockingham today is also heavy on your mind. What kind of strategy have you got for today, and is it a good car for you today?
Look, Kodiak car's running real good here. Last 6 races here, we've finished in the top 5. It's been a good track for us. Kind of like you were talking before with Kyle, I like coming to Rockingham. You just got a good attitude when you come here. It's a survival deal for a long time, and then you got to just see how you are at the end so you can race.
And you really had a pretty good run going in that car the last time you were here at Rockingham.
Yeah, the last 6 races here has been top 5. The deal with Kyle in the spring in '91, he got around us with about 10 laps to go, and the car always performs good here. And like you're talking about people getting desperate late in the year, put the Kodiak team in with that group because it hasn't been good.
All right, is it true what we were talking about, Mike Joy and myself, a few minutes ago? You really do have to be around here to see 400 laps before you can even think about running for a victory.
The main thing you do is you just keep adjusting on your car and keep yourself aware of what the leaders are doing. You can't go a lap down. You play this game for 400 laps to stay in the lead lap, and then you race.
What about the tires here, Kenny? Will the tires be a story at all? Is everybody pretty comfortable with the tire that Goodyear has here for this race?
We've got a tire that is very durable. It gives up a little bit as far as slowing down through no fault of the tire. I guess there's talk about repaving this place next year. The pavement, everybody runs right at the bottom here, and the pavement, we've just worn it out. So we're kind of running on rocks down there, and it chews them up, but it stays together. It just slows down a lot, but then everybody else's does. So its handling really takes over today.
I hope it's a good, safe race for you today. Congratulations on your new AC Delco Busch car for the rest of the year. That's exciting news, and I know you'll be ready for Bear come Daytona in the Goodies 300.
We'll be ready.
All right, Kenny Schrader. It's been a busy week for the Grand National drivers. As a matter of fact, Thursday afternoon, Joe Nemechek unveiled his new sponsor for 1993. It's Dentine Chewing Gum, and the car will become Candy Apple Red. Then later that evening, the Busch Grand National and Winston Cup drivers traded helmets for a ball glove and had a benefit softball game for the Clifford Allison Fund. The Winston Cuppers gave the Busch boys a thrashing larger than the 22-19 final score, but the good news was that $20,000 was raised for the Allison's children. And we'll have more complete highlights tonight on race day. Meanwhile, then yesterday, the next to last Busch Grand National race was run with Nemechek trying to protect his points lead. Here's Mark Allen.
By qualifying up front, Jeff Gordon broke the record for the most poles won in a single season with 11. With less than 10 laps complete, Shauna Robinson in the Polaroid Olds went to the garage with mechanical problems ending her day. The Baby Ruth pilot continued to lead the pack in the early going as he had from the drop of the green. After a single car yellow, Mark Martin wasted no time taking the top spot in the first lead change of the day. However, Gordon didn't like position number 2 and went back out front a few circuits later. On lap 95, at least 8 cars collected in this backstretch melee. Included were Steve Grissom, Bill Elliott, Bobby Dotter, Hermie Sadler, and a few others. This brought out the red flag. Ernie Irvin started way back in 19th, but moved forward all day and battled with the leaders for a while, but a blown motor ended his afternoon. A few laps later, and this contact between the points leaders, Nemechek in 87 and Bobby Labonte, brought the Texas Pete-sponsored Chevy to the pits for a change of tires. Robert Presley in the black number 59 was a long shot for the championship, but this blown motor ended those hopes with less than 40 laps to go. In the closing circuit, Martin maintained the lead over Gordon to take his first Busch Grand National win of the year. Third went to Todd Bodine, fourth was Darrell Waltrip, and Harry Gant was fifth.
Woe is me. A post-race inspection found that Martin's engine had an illegal carburetor gasket. However, it wasn't considered to have improved performance, and the win stood. However, Mark gave up $5,000 in fines. So, with just Hickory to go, Nemechek's 16th place finish shrinks his points lead to just 33 points. Todd Bodine is sitting a dark horse third. Then it's Jeff Gordon and Robert Presley. And, of course, Kenny Schrader is smiling because of what happened in yesterday's Unocal World Pit Crew Championship. The Ken Holmes-led sextet dumped 11 gallons of fuel and changed 4 tires in 23.142 seconds to beat the field. The Kodak crew of Tony Glover was second, with third going to the Buddy Parrott-led Miller crew. And, of course, you can see the entire competition on TNN on November 8th at 1:30 p.m., and it's always entertaining. As we head to break, here's a program reminder about the Slick 50 Sprint Car World Series. It kicks off live on TNN beginning November 8th at 7 p.m. and will bring together many of the country's top sprint car stars. It will run right after the Slick 50 Eagle 1 Midget World Challenge in both series, lasting 10 weeks, excluding Thanksgiving and Christmas weekends. If you'd like more information, you can call a toll-free number, 1-800-972-7735, from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. on Monday through Friday. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Anything you can handle, we can handle. Yokohama High Performance Tires.
You know what time it is.
TV.
I love this place. Come here. Right here is Dinner Basket Central. What are my options?
What would you like in it? French fry or potato?
Baked potato.
Coleslaw or salad?
Salad.
I didn't see a we'll bring it right up to you.
Dinner baskets, it's about that time.
Chicken, steak, Whopper, shrimp.
Just coming in with the basket? All right. Does that work for you?
Works for me. It's good.
It's your way, right away.
I love this place.
It's the same thing every Saturday. He puts on those old blue jeans and goes out with that old dog, and he's gone all day. He says he's gonna bring back dinner, but all he ever brings back is that old dog.
Here's to old dogs, Saturday mornings, and comfortable blue jeans. Wrangler.
All year long, it's been hit or miss for Johnny Benson Jr. and Mike Eddy. The two have played tag in an exciting ASA season. Now it all comes down to one last meeting. Whoever takes the checkered takes home the championship. Is this Mike Eddy's lucky number 7, or will young Johnny Benson stop him in his tracks? It's going to be a fight to the finish. The showdown in Jennerstown. The ASA AC Delco Challenge Series Oldsmobile 400. Today, 5 p.m. Eastern, only on TNN Motorsports.
Garth Brooks, Patty Loveless, the Smothers Brothers, Kenny Rogers, Alan Jackson, Emmylou Harris, Diamond Rio, Wayne Newton, Vince Gill, Trisha Yearwood, Sawyer Brown, Vern Gosden, Billy Ray Cyrus, Clint Black, Brooks and Dunn, Travis Tritt. You want them, you got them. The biggest names in entertainment. 90 big minutes. Weeknights on Nashville Now. 9, 8 Central on TNN.
And welcome back live to Rockingham, North Carolina. Now, the other big race of the day is in the Keystone State, where Mike Eddy is facing his strongest threat in years to his ASA title. Here's a look at what we can expect in this season-ending finale this afternoon.
Autumn in Jennerstown, Pennsylvania, where rain interrupted qualifying for the final ASA race of the season, this year's championship. Well, it's quite simple. Two men, face to face. The veteran Mike Eddy trails Johnny Benson Jr. by 19 points. That's about 5 positions. Now, despite 6 season ASA championships, obviously Eddy is, well, very concerned. We talked to him about the stress and the strain of the hunt for this year's championship.
No, same preparation. I prepare the same for every race.
And check this out. Qualifying was completed, and Mike Eddy sits on the pole.
Let's put it this way, when I'm in second, I've got nothing to lose, just everything to gain.
So, Mr. Benson, with the added incentive and pressure, have you been making the guys put in 16-hour work days since the Toledo race?
We checked a lot of things on the car to make sure nothing's going to course fall off, and other than that, you know, we didn't want to tear into the car too heavy, and I went for vacation, went down to North Carolina, and came back, and we finally got the motor this week and put it in, and here we are.
All year, Benson has been the man in qualifying. Johnny has been fastest on 7 separate occasions. Not today. A philosophical Benson will start on Mike's right flank.
You know, we're racers. We're going to do what we can to win. Not saying that I'm going to take any unnecessary chances, but we are still going to try to run up front all day.
Similarities between the two are undeniable. Each owns his own team, each turns his own wrenches, and behind the wheel, each is as tough as well-seasoned shoe leather. Today the bell sounds and the two contenders wade to the center of the ring to settle a dead-even fight, fittingly from the front row. This is Rob Albright with Larry Newber for Race Day.
All right, here's how it shakes out. If Benson finishes second or better, he automatically wins the title. Third might still do it based on ASA's many bonus point formulas. And, of course, that race will be seen immediately following the AC Delco 500 at 5 p.m. right here on TNN. Now, in IndyCar news, Al Unser Jr. is staying put. Wednesday, he revealed that his hopes for a Formula One ride didn't appear to have worked out to his liking, so he'll stay with car owner Rick Gallis for the 1993 season, barring a miracle. The team is also giving up its homegrown Galmer chassis in favor of the Lola. Up next, other doings from Rockingham, but first, here's how they'll line up for the ASA AC Delco finale in Pennsylvania. Stay with us.
It's your boss on the phone. He says, do you still work here or not?
I called the airline like you said, and sure, there's a later flight. Tomorrow.
When you just can't wait to get started, start with a Champion. Pound for pound, the most powerful automotive battery you can buy. Get your Champion now by calling 1-800-289-4627 for a dealer near you.
In our continuing search for the best of everything, our special segment today applies to all motorists. Straining to see through a rain-soaked windshield is no fun and can be unsafe, but there is a solution. It's called Rain-X, the invisible windshield wiper. It dramatically improves wet weather visibility. After my first application, I was a true believer. With Rain-X, you'll feel safer driving in the rain. Go out and get your Rain-X today.
When the job is tough, you need the best. And when you need the best, you reach for Channel Lock. For the power. The precision. For just plain counting on, there's only one. Channel Lock. Be sure you're getting genuine Channel Lock tools. Look for this trademark.
Get this close to the thrill of real life on the Discovery Channel. It's your world.
And welcome back live to the North Carolina Motor Speedway, where driver introductions are wrapping up just behind us. Friday night, AC Delco and yours truly were pleased to present the Crew Chief of the Year award to Larry McReynolds of the Davey Allison team. Tony Glover and Jake Elder finished right on his heels. The award carries a $2,500 prize. Also on Friday night, the LG DeWitt Lifetime Service Award was presented to NASCAR's very own Winston Cup director, Dick Beatty, for his many years of untiring effort to make NASCAR a better sport. And our congratulations go out to both. You know, coming on the heels of John Holmes' induction to the Western Auto Mechanics Hall of Fame back in Charlotte a few weeks ago, a lot of folks are getting their just rewards. Joining us now is a gentleman who gets rewards from his involvement and his company's involvement with NASCAR, and that's Gil Cashin from the AC Delco Company. Gil, first of all, it is a whale of a day in racing for you guys. The AC Delco 500 here, then the AC Delco ASA Challenge Series finale up in Jennerstown. How are you going to see all of this?
Well, it's going to be difficult, Pat. Of course, TNN is going to make it easy for us to do because, as you've already mentioned, on the heels of this, they'll be televised. But, you know, the most important thing to AC Delco, Pat, is not only our involvement in motorsports, but here at the Rock, this is like home to us, and there's 2,700 of our customers here present today. So it's a big weekend. In addition to that, as you know, we've announced this weekend our renewal of our sponsorship of the AC Delco 200-500 here at the Rock with Frank Wilson.
Right.
We've also this weekend announced our continuation of Ken Schrader, Busch Grand National Series. Kenny will not only be doing the Busch Grand National, but Kenny will be doing 7 of the TNN live telecast of the ASA races. So it's been a great weekend for us here.
Well, obviously, it's worked for you guys because you continue to support the sport that we all love and work in. It makes good business sense, obviously, for you to be involved.
That's it, Pat. Bottom line, if you can't take it to bottom line, I don't care if it's tennis or football, basketball, or badminton. If you can't take it to bottom line, you shouldn't be in it. And we know we can measure this, motorsports. We take it to bottom line.
Well, let's you hear the fans back there. I don't know exactly what they're yelling about, but it's certainly expressing their emotions this morning. You got some emotional winners for today that maybe are your picks to win.
Well, yeah, you know, we're going to pull for Darrell Waltrip, Ken Schrader, and Dale Earnhardt. That's my emotional 3.
Is the Dale Earnhardt, or excuse me, is the Darrell Waltrip car as competitive as I think it is this weekend? I noticed that Darrell has really had a smile on his face. Have you had a chance to ask him about it?
Darrell has, this year, it's been a phenomenal year for him. And, you know, if you want to pick a driver who's smart, you pick Darrell Waltrip. I mean, he's a smart driver. His philosophy is you can't win unless you're there to finish. And he stays out of traffic, and everyone talks about him keeping that cushion out in front of him. But look at this year's record, and he's there. He's there to finish, and if you can't finish, you're not going to win.
Thanks so much for all your support, and we look forward to a great day here. It should be a good show here on TNN.
Pat, thanks so much to you personally and to TNN.
Thank you very much. All right, folks, that's it for now from the Rock, but we'll be back after the race to wrap up stop number 27 on the Winston Cup Trail. And, of course, we'll be live right here at 8:30 Eastern. Remember, it's a great day of racing here live on TNN. First, the AC Delco 500 at 12:30, then the championship-deciding ASA Oldsmobile 400 from Pennsylvania at 5 p.m. Who needs football? I'm Pat Patterson. See you tonight on TNN.
Guest of race day, stay at the luxurious Hyatt Charlotte at South Park. Conveniently located in Charlotte's exclusive South Park district. Feel the Hyatt touch by calling 1-800-233-1234. Communications provided by Racing Radios, the official communications of NASCAR, CART, IMSA, NHRA, IHRA, and ARCA. And Corporate Image, the official supplier of sportswear for race day, and with a complete line of items featuring Bill Elliott. To order, call Corporate Image at 1-800-467-RACE.
Shade Tree Mechanic, next on TNN. Today, live on TNN Motorsports. The Winston Cup season is almost over on TNN, but not the amount of action. While everyone's keeping their eyes on Dale Earnhardt, Dale's racing his heart out. Davey Allison's got a watchful eye on the clock, and handsome Harry Gant just keeps on plugging away. NASCAR's hot in the country. Live from Rockingham, Winston Cup AC Delco 500 today, 12:30 p.m. Eastern, live, only on TNN Motorsports.
Put an end to scenes like this forever. With Jiffy Bagger, cleanups become a cinch. Jiffy Bagger cuts work time to no time and requires no assembly. Just bend, fasten, and it's ready to use. Jiffy Bagger picks up leaves and garden debris in a fraction of the time it took before. Loads to the brim with no fuss, no mess, and feeds the shredder with ease. Even rain-soaked leaves of fall and winter, no problem. Perfect for garage and sidewalk debris, too. Even indoor cleanups become child's play. And the cost, just $19.95. Call now to order. Give Jiffy Bagger a try and it's a great gift for every homeowner. If not satisfied, simply return for full refund or credit. Call now.
To order your Jiffy Bagger, call toll-free 1-800-422-9900. That's 1-800-422-9900. Or send $19.95 plus shipping and handling to Jiffy Bagger, P.O. Box 846, Valley Stream, New York, 11580. Have your credit card ready and call now, 1-800-422-9900.
Hello and welcome to Shade Tree Mechanic. Today we're going to show you how to protect your car and save a few dollars by maintaining your cooling system.
On this little S10 pickup truck, we're going to go ahead today and flush the cooling system and replace the coolant. Then we're going to bring in the GMC pickup truck and we're going to change the hoses, the belts, flush the cooling system, and check it out thoroughly.
But before we get to that, let's find out how a cooling system works. The radiator holds the water and antifreeze mixture referred to as coolant. The coolant is pulled through the lower radiator hose by the water pump and into the engine. The coolant control valve routes water from the engine into the heater core. The heater fan forces the heat from the core into the passenger compartment to warm the car during cold weather. Coolant from the heater core then recycles to the engine through the water pump. By this point, the coolant has picked up quite a load of heat from the engine and is allowed to return to the radiator by way of the upper hose when the thermostat reaches operating temperature and opens. Well, that's basically how your cooling system works.
Let's go over to the workbench and take a look at some of these cooling system components. First thing we've got here is a radiator that's cut away. This radiator, I'm going to show you some plugged tubes. The lower third of this radiator was plugged. The car had an overheat problem, and investigation showed that the little tubes here that the coolant flows through, there's 3 rows of them, they got plugged from scale and corrosion. Car overheated, radiator was sent to a radiator shop, and it couldn't be saved because it was also rotting in a few places. And that's a direct result of not flushing your cooling system on a regular basis. Also in a radiator, if your car is fitted with an automatic transmission, we have another small radiator inside the end cap or in the bottom of the radiator if it's a vertical radiator. That cools your automatic transmission. And if you get automatic transmission fluid in your cooling system, that makes a mess, but it can be flushed out. Worse is to get the coolant into the automatic transmission. That'll ruin it. That's pretty much what a radiator is like.
That happened to me one time.
Did it really?
It cost me a fortune to fix the transmission.
Absolutely. How does this compare with that?
Well, this is a brand new style of radiator. It's aluminum with plastic end caps. And you'll find these on most of your new cars. It's designed for lightweight, but it also is very susceptible to corrosion. That means you need to flush the system at least once a year in order to keep this thing alive.
Flushing the cooling system all the time, every year, will make a big difference in the way the system works. Okay, the next thing we've got is thermostat. Thermostat's the valve that controls the engine temperature. When the engine comes up to temperature, the thermostat opens, allows the hot water to flow to the radiator and get cooled and returned to the engine. And these are inexpensive. When you flush the cooling system, you may want to replace it. It's important that your engine operates at the proper temperature.
You know, a good clue on that one is if you're driving along and you find you don't have any heat coming out of your heater core, it could be that your thermostat is plugged open, you know?
Yeah, could be open. And this is the heater core Dave mentioned. This sits inside the passenger compartment or out on the firewall in a plenum, and the fan blows, the car's fan blows the air across this and heats up the cabin. You have 2 heater hoses that feed water in and out, and if you don't flush your cooling system, this can corrode and leak.
And these are a pain to try to replace.
That's right. Or they can really plug up, and then you'll have no heat at all.
That's right.
Very expensive job. And with the top off the radiator, we've got a pressure cap. And this pressure cap has got seals on it, but there's also some valves you can't see. Because on top of the radiator, of course, you see people put them on and tighten them down. It pressurizes the cooling system. Now, you pressurize the cooling system to raise the boiling temperature because new engines run hotter, and this keeps you from boiling off the coolant. There's also some valves in there that allow the overflow. When the engine's hot and the coolant expands, it travels over to the overflow recovery tank. When the engine cools down, a valve opens in here and allows the coolant to come back out of the recovery tank and thermosiphon back into the radiator. Well, that's pretty much it for cooling system components.
Okay, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to flush our cooling system with a new style flush kit. Your car's engine produces enough heat to keep a 6-room house warm in the winter.
Brought to you by Prestone. It stops the rust that stops your car.
Rust. What it can do to the outside of your car. Weak, neglected antifreeze can do to the inside. You need the tough anti-corrosion formula of Prestone. Use fresh Prestone every year to give your radiator and cooling system heavy-duty rust and corrosion protection. No matter what happens to the outside, Prestone protects the inside. Prestone stops the rust that stops your car.
I grew up on a farm just down the road. I know most everybody in town and handle the insurance for quite a few. I'm their State Farm agent, Dennis Hoffroge. My job is to help my neighbors, to help them protect their families and the things they've worked for. It's a job I take seriously. Every State Farm agent does. You know, State Farm started out in small towns just like this. People trying to help their neighbors. And we're still helping.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
We've been under trickle-down economics for 12 years. Just keep taxes low on the wealthy and see what happens. Well, I'll tell you what's happened. Most Americans are working harder for less money. Unemployment's up. Healthcare costs are exploding. We are not doing what it takes to compete and win. I've worked hard on a different plan. Let's give incentives to invest in new jobs. Let's spend more on education and training. Let's provide basic health care to all Americans. Putting our people first. Rebuilding this economy, making us competitive. If we do those things, we'll compete and win, and we'll bring this country back.
His reign has lasted 35 years, and he's taken his share of lumps. With 200 wins and 7 Winston Cup championships, he's earned his royal title. Join TNN and pay tribute to the legend who's changed the course of racing history, and follow the King on his final ride.
Of all the laps I've taken, this one's going to be the toughest.
Richard Petty, the final ride, next Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern, here on TNN.
Here you go, Sam. Well, welcome back to Shade Tree Mechanic. You know, I told you when we left that we were going to be flushing our cooling system with the new style flush kit. Well, that's what I have right here. The concept is that it allows you to flush the system easily and with the proper mixture, and at the same time dispose of the old coolant properly. Here's your kit.
Thanks. What we've got here is a coolant recovery system or replacement system by Prestone. This allows you to do a great job changing your antifreeze and coolant and recovering it like Dave said. First thing, we read the instructions, real important. First thing we want to do is relieve the pressure on the system by cracking the radiator cap, make sure we have no pressure. We've done that already. The next step is we're going to go ahead and take and cut the top hose, and we're going to cut the hose right about here. And I'm using a little razor knife for this, and cut the hose just like this. They're tough little hoses.
All right.
All right, and then we have an adapter.
There you go.
And a clamp.
You got your clamp.
And that's going to go in the side facing the radiator, okay, with this little hole at the top. Put that in there, and we get a screwdriver and tighten this up. Just have to loosen this clamp a little bit. There we go.
Okay.
And we'll just tighten this clamp.
Now here's your fill funnel.
Okay. And that snaps right in here. Okay. The next thing we need is a little adapter for this.
You got that, and here's your hose clamp for that.
Just slide this in here, like so. Okay.
All right.
And I'll slide this hose clamp up on here.
Now I'm going to give Sam this drain tube. Here, let me hold that for you, Sam, and then you can do that. Put your drain tube on it.
Okay. Drain tube slips right over the hose.
And
then we'll clamp it.
Okay.
All right,
now, while he's clamping that, I'm going to stretch this all the way down here to the ground. You want to have a pair of scissors with you. Just roll it all the way down until it almost touches the ground so it's fairly straight, and cut it off. Like that. Now, we got to cut off. We're going to take and put the end of this tube into this fill bucket. Now, this bucket comes with your kit. You want to fill it full of water first to just make sure there's no leaks. Once you've done that, then you set it down here. Put something behind it heavy just to brace it. If you'll notice on the front, it's marked in liters or in quarts. this will give you the capacity of your system. Now, the system on this particular vehicle is about 11 quarts.
I checked that with the owner's manual. We've got 11 quarts, and what we're going to do here is we're going to fill up this funnel with water, and we're going to start the engine. When the engine comes up to temperature, the old antifreeze is going to come out through this tube into our collection bottle, and when we'll keep adding water till we get to about 5.5, 6 quarts. At that point, I've got some antifreeze ready. We'll put in our fresh antifreeze while the engine's still running, and we'll continue till we get 11.5 quarts into that bucket, and that's our capacity, and then we've got a 50-50 mix.
Okay, now I'm going to fold our tube just in half like this and slide it all the way down to the bottom of our bottle.
Okay, give me the hose, Dave.
You need the hose.
First move is we're going to add a little bit of water to this funnel, fill this up.
All right, now get back here in the back.
Okay, we've got that. Now go ahead and start it up, Dave, and we'll bring it up to temperature and watch the thermostat open and the old antifreeze come out.
We clear?
Okay, Dave, go ahead. While this engine's warming up, we're going to go ahead and fix this piece of double-sided tape to this bumper to support this tube.
I'm glad you didn't tell him. I forgot that.
We forgot that earlier.
While Sam's doing that, when the thermostat opens, you're going to see the old antifreeze flowing out of this tube now down into our bucket. Once it gets down in here, we're going to start adding water until we bring it up to about the 5.5 quart level. From that point on, we'll start adding fresh antifreeze to the system, and we'll bring it up to about the 11.5 quart level. At that time, we'll know that our cooling system has been flushed.
Okay, here it comes. You can see it coming down the tube here into our collection bottle.
Okay, I'm adding water, Sam. And tell me when it reaches about 5.5 quarts.
Okay.
Just taking the water right down. All right, this is going to take a few minutes for your recovery tube or bottle to fill up to about 5.5 quarts, so don't get in a real big hurry. Keep your funnel filled up at all times.
We're there. We're about 5.5 quarts, Dave.
Okay, I'm going to start adding the antifreeze now. Okay, when you pour your antifreeze, you want to make sure you pour it flat like this. Otherwise, it'll come gurgling out of the bottle. This way you can pour it nice and easy.
11.5, Dave.
Okay, let's shut it off. Okay. All right, next I'm going to take out this funnel. We'll get rid of that. And Sam, I'm going to take off this hose right here right off the bat. Watch, it's kind of hot.
All
and
right.
you can take that.
I'm going to take the shop towel.
Hold on here. Let me get the...
So I can
All right,
hold
now
it
pull it on off. All right.
And I'm going to finish draining this right into our collection container.
Now, I've already got the connector in this side of the hose. I'm going to take off this hose clamp. I'm just going to loosen it, and I'll slide it back. And pull out this adapter. And I put the two together. Now, tighten up my hose clamps.
Okay. I've got this container of antifreeze buttoned up now. We've got someone coming by to pick it up and recycle it. What you need to do is check with state and local environmental people. Make sure you dispose of it properly.
Now, don't go away, because next we're going to change the belts and hoses on our next vehicle, so stay with us. What is the most common cause of mechanical breakdown on the road? The answer, cooling system failure.
Hi, I'm Ralph Emery here in Nashville, where country music traditions are born. And no one brings those country traditions home like Country America magazine. Cheryl, aren't you a Country America fan?
You bet, Ralph. Nobody covers the country music scene like Country America. I love the music reviews.
Oh, Lori, why do you read Country America?
I like the stories on ordinary country people with extraordinary courage and determination. How about you, Clint?
Oh, I just think that Country America interviews the most fascinating entertainers.
Clint.
I hear that same phrase repeated time and time again in letters from Country America readers. Here's one from a woman in Texas. I read Country America from cover to cover. Love the article on Randy Travis. From Florida, the note says, Country America not only tells me all about country singers, but about country life. A family in Michigan writes how much they enjoy the recipes in every issue. Letter after letter raves about Country America magazine, and here's how you can enjoy it too.
Call now and receive a free preview issue of Country America magazine. If you're delighted with your free issue, continue your subscription for a full year, 10 issues in all, including your first, for just $13.97. There's no risk. If you're not completely satisfied, just write cancel on your bill. The first issue is still yours to keep free. As an added bonus, Country America brings you the complete TNN program guide, so you'll always know when your favorite stars are on TNN.
Enjoy the country tradition that's so well loved by your fellow countrymen. Oh, and country women, too.
Order your free issue of Country America now.
Call 1-800-772-5000. 1-800-772-5000.
She's a national treasure. And for over 50 years, she's made the world laugh.
That's the biggest fish story I ever heard tell.
Join host Barbara Mandrell, Reba McEntire, Dwight Yoakam, and many others as TNN pays tribute to a very special lady. Hats off to Minnie. America honors Minnie Pearl. Monday night at 8 Eastern on TNN.
And it's Billy Ray Cyrus, country music star and host of the new home video, NFL Country.
Country music in the NFL. Man, that's a great combination.
Hey, Billy, tell them about the Super Bowl sweepstakes.
Well, the grand prize is a VIP trip for two to the 1993 Super Bowl, hosted by me.
First prize includes Billy Ray's CDs and the new NFL Country home video. To enter, send a postcard with your name, address, and phone number to this address. This TNN sweepstakes brought to you by Castrol GTX.
Send in your postcards.
Well, welcome back to Shade Tree Mechanic. You know, our next project involves changing the belts and hoses on our trusty pickup. If it's been 4 years or longer since you've changed your belts and hoses, now is the time to do it. You want to do it before they go bad. They almost never go bad in your driveway. It always happens out on the freeway. But before we do that, that's a good chance or time to take care of your cooling system.
We took a look at this cooling system and decided before we changed the belts and hoses, we'd flush it. We used some of this pressed-on super flush, which you just add, run the engine, and flush it. It's cool now. And what we're going to do, the first step, is we're going to relieve the pressure on the system by cracking open the pressure cap, and we're going to drain the radiator.
To drain a radiator, slide a drain pan underneath the car. Then loosen the petcock at the base of the radiator. Once you have it loose, then slide a rubber hose over the petcock to channel all the fluid down into the drain pan. This will keep the fluid from running all over the car. When the radiator is empty, remove the top hose. And when you do, be careful about removing the hose from the radiator neck. Once you got the clamp loose, twist the hose to see if you can break it loose. It usually will do it. Otherwise, you can damage the neck. Next, loosen the clamp and remove the lower radiator hose. Again, twist it so that you don't damage the neck. Okay, now we're going to remove the heater hoses. They run directly from the engine up to the firewall, directly into the heater core. Now you have to be real careful when you remove the hoses from the heater core so that you don't damage the necks on it. Okay, now that we got our hoses off, we'll take off the belts.
Okay, the first belt we're going to take off here is the belt that runs around our air pump and our power steering pump. Again, this is driven by the crankshaft pulley and comes all the way around the fan and alternator. We'll start by loosening this bolt here at the back of it. Here we go. And it's already started to move. What we'll do is just pull on this belt. The pump will swing out of the way. And we've got plenty of room to take and thread the belt off over the fan. And as you can see, this belt is all dried and cracked on the back. And it's just really a nasty old belt. We need to change it. Next thing we're going to do is take our alternator belt off. And our alternator is down here under the air pump. We can swing this air pump up out of our way. And down here, we're going to take a deep socket, an extension, and we're going to go into here. And these can be a bear sometimes to change. Okay, we've got that loose. Now let's take the socket off there and see if we can move the alternator. Grab the belt and pull. Oh, it's moving some. There we go. That should be enough to slip it over. Pull it. Oh, we just made that. And we've got this belt off. And now again, we'll lace it over the fan. And this belt is out of here. Now, when you put your new belts on, just thread them back the way we took them off, around the pulleys. And make sure you get in that bottom groove. And we're putting the air pump power steering belt on already. And just grab hold of it, pull it up a little bit. Take your ratchet and your socket, and we're going to tighten this up just a little bit to support it. Then we're going to take a little bar and we're going to stick it in here. And what we're going to do is lever this up so we can get the belt good and tight. And there we go. And we'll tighten it up. Okay, that gives us good belt tension. You want to check your belt and make sure you've got about 3/8 of an inch there and a little bit more there. And check them again in about a week because they'll have some initial stretch.
Okay, next we're going to replace the thermostat. Now, it's been in there for a long time. There's probably not anything wrong with it, but now is a good time to do that.
Thermostat sits right inside here in the thermostat housing. We're going to remove it. Okay, now we're ready to remove our thermostat housing. And we just pop it off. And we're going to clean the surface here. And we're going to clean this surface here all the way around to make sure the new hose seals tightly. Okay, I'm scraping the gasket surface here, and you notice I left the old thermostat in. That's to prevent this old gasket material from falling into the hole. Once we get this cleaned up, okay, and we get that nice and clean, we wipe off all this dirt. Okay, now we'll remove the old thermostat, and we'll discard it. We're going to go ahead and install the new thermostat and put the button towards the block. You'd be surprised how many people install that improperly. Make sure it's seated good, install a new gasket, and now we're ready for our thermostat housing.
There you go.
Thank you, which Dave has all cleaned up where the hose is going to go and also the gasket surface. We'll install that right down here, and now we're ready to put the bolts in.
All right, we're going to install our new hoses now. We've already got our lower radiator hose installed. I'm going to go ahead and install the heater hose.
I'm going to install this top hose. When you install hoses, one thing you want to remember, don't over-tighten the clamps.
And also, when you install new hoses, always put on new hose clamps. And be sure to align them so you can reach them easily. Okay, I think we got all the hoses installed. Is everything tight?
Yep.
Check the petcock there.
Yep. It's tight. Don't forget to tighten your drain petcock when you refill.
Okay. Now, we've drained about 2 gallons of old antifreeze out of this system. We're going to replace it with about 1 gallon of fresh antifreeze and top it off with water.
And we're also going to top the radiator off with a brand new pressure cap. It's only a $5 or $6 investment, and it's the best thing you can do for your cooling system.
Okay, while we're doing this, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk about some new products, so stay tuned to Shade Tree Mechanic. Your car's cooling system circulates up to 7,500 gallons of coolant every running hour.
Rust. What it can do to the outside of your car, weak, neglected antifreeze can do to the inside. You need the tough anti-corrosion formula of Prestone. Use fresh Prestone every year to give your radiator and cooling systems heavy-duty rust and corrosion protection. No matter what happens to the outside, Prestone protects the inside. Prestone stops the rust that stops your car.
When I was growing up, I learned a lot by watching my dad. Dad was a State Farm agent for 25 years, and I've become a State Farm agent too. Being there for others is a tremendous responsibility. I take a lot of pride in doing the proper job for other people, like every State Farm agent. People tell me I'm just like my dad. That's just fine with me.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
For Performance and safety are important to me, whether I'm driving my race car or the family van. Seatbelts, guys. That's why I choose Trico windshield wiper blades. Trico wiper blades are built for performance and aerodynamically designed to improve my driving vision when and where I need it. Safe drivers win. Winning drivers choose Trico. There's no clearer choice.
You demand the same things from your car that you demand from your budget. Both have to go more places, last longer, and work harder than ever. So get Walmart savings on the motor oil engineered for today's smaller cars. Castrol GTX. Castrol provides maximum protection against viscosity and thermal breakdown. And Walmart savings provide maximum protection against paying too much. Walmart. Always the low price. Always.
Welcome back to Shade Tree Mechanic. What I got here, Sam?
That looks pretty fancy. What's
This is
that?
the ultimate digital compass.
Right.
And when I say ultimate, yeah, it'll go right in a vehicle. What you do is you can mount it right on your windshield or your dash, and it's electronic. It's got a little battery in it. When you turn it on, then it'll tell you where you want to go, but it does more than just that. It's got 3 magnetometers in it that'll compensate for any electronic fields or magnetic fields in your car. It also is set up so that you can program directions in it. So if you go someplace, you want to find your way back there again, it'll program it. It's light sensitive, so when it gets to a certain light level, it'll come on so you can see it.
Oh, it's illuminated so you can see it at
Right,
night.
exactly. And best of all, when you turn it on and then you forget about it and you stop the car after 11 minutes, it'll automatically shut off.
Great, an auto off feature.
Yeah, this is something that nobody should be without. And I say it's ultimate. When I say ultimate, I mean an ultimate price, too. What do you think it cost?
I haven't got a clue. How much is it, Dave?
$99.95.
Expensive little deal.
It's expensive, isn't it?
It looks pretty nice.
It's a neat deal. Sure is.
So let me show you something else we've got that's pretty nice. And this is a anti-theft device or theft deterrent by Rally Products. And I'm going to put it in this truck and show you how it works. This thing clips on to the steering wheel and the brake pedal. Now, if you have a tilt steering column, tilt it all the way down. If you have a telescoping column, like in a Cadillac or Lincoln, push it all the way down. What we're going to do is thread this thing around the brake pedal, like so, and then we'll release it with the key, hook it to the steering wheel, and then we'll lock it in place here, like that. Okay, once it's locked, now the vehicle can't be driven because they can't depress the brake pedal, and it limits the steering wheel action. Take your keys with you, and it'll help ward off thieves. Nice little product.
Hey, I got one more product here, Sam. It's called a cargo bar.
It's got rubber feet on both sides.
Yeah, rubber feet on both sides. Here, you want to help me put it in there?
Sure.
Okay. The way it works is you turn the bar, and the feet will move out, and you can wedge this bar in the back of your truck. And it wedges right up against the side panels.
That's great. Keep the load from moving around.
Keeps this load from sloshing around, and if you got more, well, you can add more cargo bars in here.
That's a nice little product.
It's a neat product, and only
Handy to
cost
pick up
about
truck.
$28.
You can use it in a van, too. Nice little product.
That's
I like
a handy
that.
one. I like that.
Yeah.
Well, that pretty well wraps up today's show. And remember, if you see any of the projects on here you want to try, by all means, do it. But if you don't feel comfortable, go see a pro.
You know, when you get rid of all your waste antifreeze or your waste oil or any of the products you take out of your car, be environmentally safe. Dispose of them properly. Remember, antifreeze particularly is pretty toxic and it's sweet. If you leave it in the driveway, your animals can lick it, and that can be bad for them.
All right, until next week, so long from Shade Tree Mechanic. We'll see you.
AC Telco 500 next, live on TNN. This is TNN, the Nashville Network, the #1 source for country music, entertainment, and information.
You've seen them. You've wanted one. The time is now. Make the smart move to better health. Buy the juicer that stands out among the rest. Buy Mr. Juice. You don't need to spend $100, $200, or even $300 for a juicer, because now there is Mr. Juice.
Now with Mr. Juice, I didn't have to spend hundreds of dollars for a top-quality machine.
Mr. Juice is a top-quality juicer built with a powerful 285-watt motor, equipped with state-of-the-art steel filters and a unique double canister design, guaranteed to give you satisfaction or your money back.
Mr. Juice helps me stay in shape and keeps my energy up.
Because we own our own factories, we can practically give Mr. Juice away for an unbelievable low price of $39.95 with a 100% money-back guarantee. Order now and get free the amazing Jet Chopper. It slices, it dices, it chops. Know what you're putting into your body. Order Mr. Juice today.
The following is a special presentation on TNN, the Nashville Network.
Anytime you win 11 races, naturally like the racetrack. I won it when they first built the thing. It was a lot flatter racetrack, and then they put it into this configuration, and we've been lucky and won races with it. But, you know, I guess as much as anything, it's just like in our backyard. And anytime you win in your backyard in front of your home people, that makes you feel good. All I can say is that, you know, we've had a lot of support in North Carolina all these years, and a lot of the people are coming from home that's never been to a race. They're just coming to see this particular one because they know it's the last one I'm going to run here. So I guess that makes you feel good that even though you haven't won a race in 7 or 8 years, still people pull for you, or people still come to see you run no matter what position you're running in. And naturally, I'm going to try to do as good as I can for those people.
TNN proudly presents live flag-to-flag coverage of the NASCAR Winston Cup presentation of the AC Delco 500 from Rockingham, North Carolina. Rockingham does indeed love Richard Petty. Hello, everyone. I'm Steve Evans. They love the King so much that soon he will lead a parade lap in front of the entire field before falling back to his 26th qualified position. And, Richard, this week your home state has given you every accolade except the governorship, and I don't think that's out of the question if you run for it.
Well, right now I don't want to run for it. I want to run a race right now.
And obviously, if you can't win it, there's a certain young man you'd like to see in the winner's circle.
Yeah, there's a little boy sitting on pole that I'd love to see win the race. So I've had a lot of good fortune down here, and, you know, lately he's had some good fortune. I hope he has it again today.
You know, you're never too old for a little fatherly advice. Before you left Randleman, your father Lee, a great race driver in his own right, any final thoughts from him on the last appearance at Rockingham?
Well, you know, it's just been a good family-oriented situation. We always talked over what was going on, and he put his 2 cents worth in, I put mine in, and now I put mine in with Kyle, and he puts his 2 cents. So we just sort of traded around.
Have a great last ride at the Rock.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, let's go to Glenn Jarrett. He is with the Crown Prince of stock car racing, the other Petty.
Well, thanks, Steve. And if Rockingham loves Richard Petty, then Kyle Petty loves Rockingham. What a phenomenal record here. You're on the pole again. Got a chance at that Unical bonus. But one question I got to ask you. All the wins have come in the spring. What happens in the fall here?
I don't know what happens in the fall. We're still trying to figure it out. The last fall we were terrible. We came back this spring and we were terrible. So hopefully maybe it's made that reverse change and we're going to be all right here in the fall.
Well, I know there's one guy that is sitting at home or sitting in the hospital that's going to be watching this thing with interest, your owner, Felix Sabatis.
Yeah, this is the first race Felix has missed at Rockingham since we've been running here. One day he flew in after about 5 laps into the race when it was raining, but you know, he had his appendix out the first part of the week, and they've run into a few minor things, and his temperature kept going up, and they couldn't get him done. So I think you guys sent a satellite dish over, and they got it set outside his window with a cable run through, and he's watching us. So we'll be running for you, man, so just keep watching.
Well, best of luck to you, Kyle, and if the crown has been passed, it certainly has here at Rockingham.
Well, while they are still getting Richard Petty comfortably strapped into his racing automobile, let's right now go to a man who's always comfortable with his job, the Connecticut Comet, Mike Joy.
Thanks, Steve, and good afternoon, everyone. Well, you've met the first family of stock car racing, but there are far more stories to cover here at Rockingham this afternoon. The Winston Cup points race, among the top 6 drivers at least, is the hottest in history. And behind them, there are several drivers that, for one reason or another, may desperately need to win a race before this season comes to a close, and they have just 3 opportunities to do so. My 2 broadcast colleagues, Neil Bonnet and Buddy Baker, can update you on both those stories. First, let's go down to the garage area. Neil Bonnet.
Thanks, Mike. We're always talking points in Winston Cup racing,
And just a month ago, I was saying there were two guys with a chance to win the championship, Bill Elliott and Davey Allison. Boy, have things changed. Alan Kawicki's shown a lot of consistency, and he's worked his way right to the top. He's right there with him. And Mark Martin just 2 weeks ago at Charlotte pulled off a big win. Not only a win, but it put him right back in the points battle. Harry Gant, he's right there with him. Mr. Consistency. He's always running at the end of the race and always up front. Kyle Petty, he's probably had the best card the last 10 races, and now he's right back in the hunt. And we're sitting at his best racetrack right here at Rockingham. A lot of guys got a chance to win a championship. Not only that, there's a lot of guys that needs to win races. Let's go to Buddy Baker for that.
You know, Neil, there's a lot of pressure on the 6 drivers you just talked about for the national championship. There's 6 drivers right now that desperately need to win a race. Sterling Marlin, Brett Bodine, Michael Waltrip, Kenny Schrader, Dale Jarrett, Morgan Shepherd. If they don't win a race, they don't get into Winston, they don't get on the winner's circle. That's about $250,000 right there. As you can tell by this hauler of Kenny Schrader's, all these guys, they have to win a race.
Well, and here's another fellow who would like to win his first race of the 92 season. Right here at Rockingham, the King. Been to victory lane here 11 times. Preparing for his final ride in the state of North Carolina. While his son, Kyle Petty, gets set to pick up the mantle of family royalty. He's had some great success here at the Rock as well. Exclusive coverage of the AC Delco 500 on the Nashville Network is brought to you by AC Delco. It's like buying time. By Texaco, official sponsor of the 1992 U.S. Olympic team. By Goodyear, #1 in tire. And by cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft and Miller Genuine Draft Light, taking the country by storm. The parking lots and pit road are full. So are the grandstands. We are set for a big day of racing here at the Rock. Stay with us.
She's an 83 with over 140,000 on-road and off-road miles. I must be in and out of it 150 times a day. It's a wonder the doors don't fall off. Only trouble was when the pig charged, it caved in my door. I only use AC Delco. Cheaper parts can cost you a powerful lot. Of course, so can pigs.
AC Delco parts. It's like buying time.
Last year, Davey Allison added something new to his car. It wasn't wider tires or a slicker shape. It was the same Haviland Formula 3 motor oil you can buy, straight off the shelf, to add more life to your car with complete protection against heat stress, starting friction, and engine dirt. Now, we're not saying it was Haviland Formula 3 that gave Davey the energy to lead more major NASCAR races than anyone last year and win this year's Daytona 500. But we're not saying it wasn't.
All of these championship-winning drivers have one thing in common: Goodyear Racing Eagles. The race-winning technology that's found in the Goodyear Racing Eagles can also be found in the world's best-selling line of high-performance street tires, Goodyear Eagle Street Radials. The champions know, and it's why we say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
Guess who just got back today? Them wild-eyed boys that had been away. The boys are back in town, boys are back in town.
The Miller Genuine Draft Rusty Wallace stock car is back in town. So you better hold on.
Spread the word around. Guess who's back in town?
Welcome back to our live coverage of the AC Delco 500 from the North Carolina Motor Speedway. As we said earlier, Richard Petty will be up front, but just for a parade lap. But sitting pretty is the Winston Cup points leader, Bill Elliott, the number 11 car. He's in the 3rd qualifying position. And, Bill, this is your best qualifying effort since last June at Michigan.
Well, the car seems to be running well, and, you know, we've been close. We've had some problems here the last couple of weeks, and we'll hope for a good day out of Budweiser Ford today.
As the point standings tighten up, the best way to earn points is to win races. More emphasis on performance, I would think, now.
Yeah, but all I got to do is lose it. I mean, for us, everybody else can win it. All we can do is lose it.
Okay, Bill Elliott, he's still counting those points. Glenn Jarrett is with the man who's trying to pick his pocket for the championship.
And I don't imagine Davey Allison would like any better place than Rockingham to try to pick his pocket. This place been awfully good to you, Davey. You won this race a year ago. You were second here in the fall. How's it going now?
Well, Glenn, you know, this car's been running awful good lap times in practice. We were still searching for some things chassis-wise to give it a good, secure feel. But Rockingham's been a good racetrack for us, so we'll just feel things out to the first pit stop, and if we need to, we'll make some adjustments and try to get it right for the end of the race.
Well, you'd like to think that this place might help you recapture some of that magic you enjoyed earlier in the year.
Well, it'd sure be a good place to turn it around, knowing that we're going from here to Phoenix next week, and then Atlanta's also been a good racetrack for us. So if we could get some momentum going right here, it'd be good for the rest of the season.
Well, best of luck to you today, Davey. Steve?
Okay, thank you, Glenn. Well, folks, now, as is our custom here on live coverage on TNN, let's bring you up to date on the Winston Cup news. The race 2 weeks ago. Here's Mike Joy with the Haviland update.
There was nothing mellow about the Mellow Yellow 500 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Though Kyle Petty started 20th, he went quickly to the front and led 4 different times for a total 130 laps. Tough luck continued for point leader Bill Elliott. His Ford broke a track bar late in the race, and Elliott watched the checkered flag fall from a spot in the garage area. Davey Allison, number 2 point man, also ran off the pace much of the day. Surprising then that pole sitter Alan Kulwicki and Mark Martin, who are 3rd and 4th in the points, would be the cars battling for the lead at race's end. With just past 30 laps to go, Martin went to the front to stay to win his 2nd race of the season. Both Martin and Kulwicki gaining valuable ground in the point standing. Elliott still leads with Allison 2nd. Kulwicki closing in, Mark Martin coming fast, Harry Gant and Kyle Petty. Any one of these 6 drivers could still win the Winston Cup Championship with just 3 races remaining.
And Mark Martin is already having a great weekend here in Rockingham. Yesterday, he smoked the field in the AC Delco 200 for Busch Grand National Cars. He beat the pole sitter Jeff Gordon by almost 2 full seconds. But in a post-race teardown, Mark and crew were fined $5,000 for a non-performance enhancing carburetor gasket modification. Say that 3 times real fast. He kept the win and the points and $9,000 in pocket change. But Mark, that was yesterday. Today's today had to give you a big lift, though.
Well, it really did, and the win at Charlotte for the Valvoline team was real special for us. We're really looking forward to this race. This car and this team has been on a roll. They put me in the best race cars I've ever driven the past 6 months, and we've got a good shot at this thing, but it's a long race and a lot of competition.
I talked to your car owner, Jack Roush, and he said there is no strategy, just stand on the gas.
Yeah, and that's the way we like it, you know. That's certainly the way I like it. We have no pressure. We feel no pressure. We've had a pretty good season. We got off to a terrible start, and now we're looking at turning the season around, and we have, and you know, with a lot of good runs. So we're looking forward to the rest of this season and next year especially.
Okay, thank you, Mark. And Mike Joey, we couldn't ask for a more beautiful day here at the Rock.
Well, look at the weather radar, Steve. It's painting the state of North Carolina, and not a cloud, not a storm system. Friday, the forecast was for rain today and tomorrow. Look at that. It's all gone. We are all set. Today's weather right now, 68 degrees. Should go up to about 72 or 3 this afternoon as the sun beats down on the Rock. 40% humidity. You don't see a cloud in that sky. We're set to go racing. And this place is packed. Record sellout crowd. The infield full to capacity. Couldn't ask for a better day for it. Let's have a look at the starting lineup for the AC Delco 500 as the command is about to be given to fire engines here and get this race underway. Kyle Petty and Mark Martin, you've met on the front row. Bill Elliott 3rd. Bobby Hamilton, best ever qualifying run, is 4th.
Start your engine!
Ernie Irvin, Brett Bodine, they'll be in the 5th row. Ricky Rudd, who won at Dover on TNN, and Alan Kulwicki, only 47 points out. Rusty Wallace, then back there in the 5th row with Jeff Bodine, who has 2 wins. Terry Labonte looking to find his way to victory lane, and there's Dale Earnhardt. He's only won once here at Rockingham. Back in the 7th row, Morgan Shepherd and Dick Trickle. In row number 8, Davey Allison, just 39 points out of the lead, and Ted Musgrave. Kenny Schrader's pit crew won the championship yesterday in that department. He and Harry Gant have the 9th row. In row 10, Sterling Marlin, one of those must-win drivers Buddy spoke of, and Darrell Waltrip, 3-time winner of this race. Jimmy Spencer had a great run at Charlotte for Bobby Allison. He's in that car again today. And Michael Waltrip. Jimmy Hensley will be the Rookie of the Year. He and Derek Cope have the 12th row. In row 13, Rick Mast and the King. 11-time winner here, Richard Petty. Dale Jarrett sits in row number 14 along with former ARCA standout Jimmy Horton. And in the 15th row, Dave Marcus making his 50th Rockingham start. Former Trans Am champ Wally Dollenbach Jr. Row 16, Greg Sachs is back in the cornflake car, the Larry Hendrick car. Mike Skinner's here, starting 32nd. Chad Little in the Harry Melling car this afternoon. And Mike Wallace makes his first Winston Cup start this year. Lake Speed is back on the tour. And Dave Blaney, the sprint car race from Ohio. Jimmy Means in row number 19, Jerry O'Neill from New York State, and 2 more Jimmy Means-owned cars. More on that later. In the 20th row, Mike Potter and Johnny McFadden. That's your 40-car field. We'll be riding with Rusty Wallace today in the Miller Genuine Draft Pontiac. And from Rusty's car, you'll have a look out the windshield riding with Rusty. Through that shot over the roll cage, forward and backward. Out the rear window view from the Miller Pontiac. We'll be in the outside pole car, Mark Martin's Valvoline Ford. He'll be giving us this view from the 360-degree pan and tilt race cam. From the roof cam, you'll see what Mark see, and you'll see something I don't think you've ever seen before. Suspension cam. Wait till you see the front end and that Goodyear tire work hard on the banking here at Rockingham. Kind of a new view for you here on TNN. Thanks to Broadcast Sports Technology. Peter Larson, John Porter, the folks there bringing us that view. We'll be in 4 cars today. Let's go to Davey Allison's Haviland Ford Thunderbird. The runner-up in the point standings. We'll be carrying 2 onboard cameras. This view of the dashboard, Davey, and out the windshield. And this look out the back window past the jacking bolt, the roll bars and braces at the rest of the field. And finally, we'll be riding with the King in his final home state appearance. You see the roof cam on Richard's car. Here's the 360-degree race cam. Found a little more forward than it is in the other cars. A look at the roof cam, and you'll watch the King go to work from the face cam. There he is, that rag clenched between his teeth, that cold, wet rag between his teeth, and Richard's ready to go. Dick May must have been here, put those extra STP stickers in the car just so we'd see them. Where's Dick?
I'll tell you what, Mike, at least Richard switched from the red rag to the white every time he had a wreck. Everybody thought he was bleeding to death.
You see how full the North Carolina Motor Speedway is. These views come from aerial coverage provided by Plastic Coat, the official spray paint of NASCAR. High in the sky. Now that's the spot to watch the race from, right up there. No traffic, no hassle. Have to buy a lot of gas, but not a ticket. We'll get some good views from there today. Rockingham is just more than 1 mile in length as they measure it. A car width down from the outside wall. You see the banking and the turns are different. 22 degrees at the south end, 25 up in turns 3 and 4, and a little bit of bank to the straightaway to help with drainage. The straightaway is a little different length, and here goes the King. About to lead them around on the first of 2 pace laps in his final North Carolina appearance. 3 pace laps is the signal to the field. We'll be back for the start of the AC Delco 500 after this.
When 280 seemed out of reach, it's Joe Amato and Autolite who punch it. The wall goes to 290. Connie Coletta and Autolite smash it. 300, the barrier. Kenny Bernstein and Autolite shatter it. Autolite and the Record Breakers. Wow, I feel good. We feel pretty good about that.
Drop by your Dodge dealer and you can pick up $500 cash back on any new Dodge Dakota in stock. Dakota Club Cabs are also available with a 4-speed automatic and air conditioning at no extra charge. And even all dressed up Dakota Sports now drop under 10 grand. It's the National Dodge Truck Sale. Now arriving at a Dodge dealer near you.
Mark and my relationship goes way past business. I'm sure in a previous life he and I were twin brothers. Throughout the race, the driver and crew chief communicate. The driver complains about the car or brags about the car. It's the crew chief's job on pit stops to make whatever fixes he can to help the driver's predicament. Everyone has about the same access to equipment and technology, but the people who rub on it the most and think the most of it and think about it the most will end up winning the race.
Next Sunday, live on TNN Motorsports. This is it. TNN's last live Winston Cup race of the season, and the action's guaranteed to be as hot as the Arizona sun. Follow Richard Petty on his final ride on TNN and say farewell to the NASCAR King. It's a run under the desert sun when TNN Motorsports wraps up our Winston Cup season. Live from Phoenix, Pi Royal 500 next Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern on TNN Motorsports.
You are looking forward at the right front wheel and tire and suspension on Mark Martin's Jack Roush Valvoline Ford. And this is just under caution. Wait till we get to green. 40 cars will start this race, 492 laps the distance. Davey Allison owns the race record. A potential $671,000 in posted awards. You like that shot?
Mike, I was going to tell you, remember that shot that you just seen just then, how still everything is, and watch it when they go into first corner when you show it.
We'll get a good look at it several times this afternoon. Up front, Kyle Petty. What a phenomenal qualifying record he has had here at Rockingham. Putting that Pontiac on the pole, one of 8 in the field, 18 Fords. That's become the dominant make in Winston Cup racing. And they have clinched the Manufacturers Championship for 1992. Look at Davey Allison back in the field, trying to challenge Bill Elliott for that Winston Cup Championship. I don't know. I think you heard 3 of the top 4 drivers in the points. Sounds like the momentum's more in Mark Martin's voice and Alan Kulwicki's this week. Let's see how it gets down to it. Pontiac and Ford on the front row, green flag. We're off on the first of 492 laps today at Rockingham. And the front row quickly opens up a little margin on the field. Bobby Hamilton, who qualified 4th, right side of your screen, he's going to get shuffled back 4 spots by Mark Martin, Bill Elliott, Ernie Irvan, and perhaps Ricky Rudd. Richard Petty well back in the field. Kyle Petty picks up 5 Winston Cup bonus points right there as he leads the first lap. You're riding with the King. And back up front of the field, front 4. Ernie Irvan's moved up to 3rd on Bill Elliott.
Like in practice, Kyle Petty really was cranking out some good lap times and showing us just what we've seen race after race, or him able to stay right on the bottom. See right there, Mark Martin slide up a little bit. If Kyle can ride in finally, they're going to work awful hard to get him out of there.
Well, if you believe everything that people say, there's about 50 cars here that out of a 40-car field that can win this race. Everybody I've talked to said their car is perfect, and Mark was running consistent times also. We'll see as they start sorting themselves out just who has the dominant car.
They're all perfect in pre-race, right?
Oh, yeah.
Ernie Irvan has come up to 3rd place. Moved around Bill Elliott a lap ago. He started 5th, running 3rd. Ricky Rudd, Brett Bodine also got a good break on the start. From the roof cam of Mark Martin's Ford. Now listen as he shuts down.
Now look at that spring going up and down. That's about a, what do you figure, about 2.5, 3 inches of travel?
Yeah, that's probably about 2,000, right at 2,000 rate spring. Takes a lot of compression to smash that spring. You just put a lot of G's on it in the corner.
Look at the inside edge of the tire as it goes off into the corner.
Yeah, look at this smoothness. They say they're real smooth. Look at that tire going back and forth.
Sidewall flexes. Now, this is a radial tire. When the old bias tires were doing that, they were moving over twice as much as this. This radial's a lot stiffer sidewall, but look how much it flexes. Looks like the tire goes flat when it hits the corner.
We're going to have some fun with that suspension cam today. Mark Martin running 2nd behind pole sitter Kyle Petty. Now Kyle's picked up 5 points for leading this lap. As you know, there are also 5 points for the driver who leads the most laps. Greg Fielden researched for us that if there were no bonus points at all in Winston Cup racing for lap leaders, only 24 points would separate 2nd through 6th in the point standings. It would be that close. So bonus points, very, very important. This race is for 9th place. Jeff Bodine has it. Terry Labonte wants it as Bobby Hamilton, qualified 4th in the country time car, is sliding back just a bit in these opening laps. Davey Allison's car.
You know, you can almost, when you interview these drivers the first race, you can almost get a gut feel on how they're set up for the race. Davey said we're working trying to get the car a little bit better. He didn't really have that sound like we got it just like we wanted. When we see a few cars getting running, they're going to have to work all day long on this car.
He's working on Dale Earnhardt.
Trying that outside lane. Looks like he's able to get up there and make a move on it.
Rusty Wallace and Alan Kulwicki are battling for 7th spot. Wallace, former champion, out of the points chase this year, at least for the win, but still for some strong point money at the New York banquet. That's a look back out of Rusty's car at Alan Kulwicki. 7th and 8th place. Working pretty well on the bottom.
Yeah, they're not using as much racetrack as the Busch Grand National cars did yesterday. By this time yesterday, we had 6 or 8 cars that were already starting to go to the top side of the racetrack looking for a groove that wasn't quite as slick.
You know, I think over the last 4 or 5 races, Alan Kulwicki has as much momentum as anybody on this circuit right now. You heard Bill Elliott say at the top of the show, it's ours to lose. Everybody expects us to do well, so it's ours to give away. Kulwicki is sitting there saying, we're doing things people didn't think we could do. We're accomplishing things. We're going forward. Momentum.
You know, the thing that bothered me, I didn't hear Bill say, I think we've got the best car in the field, or any confidence whatsoever. It sounded like, well, we just hope for the best and all that. Didn't have the confidence that you look for a guy that's leading the national point standing.
And then, buddy, when you listen to Mark Martin, he's kind of like, hey, let's shoot from the hip. You know, we've been doing things, we've been running. If we win it, good. They've gained so much in the last few races, they don't feel like they have anything to lose.
Right. Here's a fellow trying to gain some points, Davey Allison. And you're with him. That's the jacking bolt on the right side of your screen, and you saw on the back rear deck the antenna for our onboard camera. As he tries again underneath Dale Earnhardt this time. Last time we saw him from the in-car, he was trying to get outside Dale.
There's 2 different styles right there. If you notice, Earnhardt drives very deep off in the corner. They think that might be one of the things he's trying to get out of, is driving so hard. On the bicycle tire, he could get by with that, but on the radial, they seem to think he abuses the tire just a little bit too much getting in the corner. Now watch. See Earnhardt drive right back by Davey. Now watch Davey pick him up coming out of the corner.
Yeah, it's kind of give and take. If you get in hard, you got to get off a little easier. If you get in easy, you got to more run off the corner. So it's a trade out. The question is, where do you use up the most?
12th place battle is what we're watching, and right behind it, there's a couple of those must-win guys, Morgan Shepherd and Kenny Schrader. Right behind them, Jimmy Spencer in the Bobby Allison car. 12 laps complete here at Rockingham. Good run so far as things settle out.
Look at the sheet metal on the back of Davey's car. That's the rear firewall flexing back there.
This is for 10th place, Terry Labonte.
Bobby Hamilton's faded. He was on the right up front. He's faded back into the field right now. They're gaining on him now.
You know something I noticed? Davey Allison has a tremendous amount of ability to not override his race car. Now, he'd seen he couldn't pass Earnhardt, so he dropped back, cooled his tires, and he'll make a run on him again in a few laps.
Well, a good thing to cash in on too. Here's Earnhardt working real hard to get around the 68, stay in the right position, and when they go, you might. Now here's Davey jumped outside. Got the outside. He tried him inside. Oh, they got together off too.
Not enough room there, and Morgan Shepherd will take a spot away from Davey on the low side. Here comes Allison right back.
Too bad we can't intercept his thought just about the time they got together over there.
It's a family show. It might be a good thing. We can't intercept his thought. 15 laps are complete. Kyle Petty is the race leader. Watching Davey Allison. Mark Martin running second. Ernie Irvin, Bill Elliott, Ricky Rudd. And the rest of your top 10. 15 laps completed. We asked Bill Elliott about his photo finish with Richard Petty here at Rockingham, 1983.
If I'd had a little more experience, I'd have beat him.
He's always been tough.
Richard's run good here, but, you know, as long as he's raced here and run here and understands the racetrack, you know, that's probably very understandable.
This week on Crook and Chase, CMA Group of the Year Diamond Rio takes on album number 2.
Plus, Eddie Arnold joins Shenandoah for a music video. It's all this week.
Crook and Chase, live, weeknights 8 Eastern on TNN.
In 2 years, the Red Cross has responded to more major disasters than ever in our history. but we depleted our reserves. We must raise millions of dollars to help disaster victims this year. Perhaps we helped you once, or a friend or a neighbor. If disaster strikes, we'll be there with food, clothing, and shelter, but we depend on voluntary contributions from people like you. Please help us today so no one is left helpless later.
Silver summer, silver time, silver line girl in the silver suit, it looks so fine. Silver box, silver top, silver fish, silver wish, come from here, right from here. Ooh, and it tastes so good. Good life is alright, it's now. Good life is alright, it's now.
At the North Carolina Motor Speedway, packed house. As we watch this battle from third from high above, it's Ernie Irvin leading Bill Elliott and Ricky Rudd. Three strong horses in this show.
You know, Ricky Rudd talking about strong horses. As this race goes along, if this car continues to perform like it is right now, he'll be the toughest car here to beat. He is really good on slick racetrack, and with the sun out, I think he'll get slick as we go along today.
Could be.
You know, we talked a little bit earlier about everybody running in the bottom, and these cars use a different tire, different compound than the Busch cars used yesterday, and it takes about 15 or 20 laps for these tires to kind of give up and make them look for a different place. We talked earlier, everybody's in the bottom a little bit, buddy. Now we're seeing a few guys try that top lane. Maybe they're having to move up there to work. They're also lapping traffic. We see some people playing around with that top groove to see if they can make it work.
They'll be up there before halfway, that's for sure. If the race ended right now, here's how the points would stack up. Alan Kulwicki would be second, heading for Phoenix by 70 points, or 65 rather. You'll see that on TNN Live next Sunday. We're going to do something a little different with our 800 number today. For the first hour of this telecast, we're going to ask you to choose who should be Winston Cup champion among the 6 drivers that are leading the point standing. Election Day is November 3rd. We feel it's very important that you vote for president and your other elected officials. So today is not a popularity contest. We don't want to know who your favorite driver is among those 6. We want you to vote who deserves to be Winston Cup champion. 6 drivers, of course. Bill Elliott, Davey Allison leading the standings. Alan Kulwicki, Mark Martin, Harry Gant, Kyle Petty. For the first hour, we won't be taking questions about this race, but we'll ask you to call in and register your vote. We'll pop that phone number again for you once again. And the call is toll-free, by the way. So call in and register your vote. And be sure to remember to vote November 3rd. Race for 10th place here. Earnhardt and Allison keep going after it.
Here they go. I mean, you notice which side of the racetrack Davey's trying to pass on now. He went to the bottom after that last little deal coming off of 2 over there.
Yeah, you probably hit the nail on the head. You said earlier, Davey tried him. He couldn't do it. He cooled the tires down for 4 or 5 laps, and he's making another run on it. You know, you just got to make an effort. You can't do it, just regroup and try again, and just make it one more try.
They are 12 seconds behind race leader Kyle Petty.
Yeah, we would be showing Kyle more, but quite frankly, he's not racing anybody now. He's just kind of out there doing his own thing. So we're going to show you what's going on with the racing people right now.
Kyle Petty leads it. Mark Martin runs in second. Ernie Irvin is third. Bill Elliott fourth. Kyle owns a 2.5-second lead right now. Ricky Rudd's in the 5th spot. Rusty Wallace is 6th. 7th is Brett Bodine. 8th is Alan Kulwicki. 9th is Jeff Bodine. And 10th is Dale Earnhardt. Let's go back to 21st spot. Poor Bobby Hamilton qualified 4th. Had a good start going here, but now he is battling back with Dick Trickle, Rick Mast, Dale Jarrett, and Michael Waltrip.
You talk about contrast. Look at where everybody runs when they go through the corner here. Michael just about hitting the wall. We got guys running the middle and on the bottom. Everybody's searching for a place to make the car work better.
Quickly through that top 10 of the other point contenders. Davey Allison is in 11th spot. Among the drivers racing for that championship, Harry Gant in 16th.
There's something a little unique, Neil. Three abreast around this place. You could not do that on bi-supply tires.
No, they went down in the corner 3 abreast. It looks like they made. We saw Mike Waltrip all the way on the wall, and the next corner was 3 deep on the bottom. So they're getting all over the racetrack.
As far as late Ray Melton would have said, they're racing all around the track today.
And around, and around, and around.
Dick Trickle and Rick Maz. That's the race for 21st spot. Let's go back up to 3rd place. Ernie Irvan, Bill Elliott, Ricky Rudd.
You know, Elliott didn't sound real confident about his car at the first of the race, but the thing's holding its own. He's in really good shape, and for someone like Bill, you never really hear that much of him until the end of the race. He's sitting on a pretty good horse, it looks like.
And the other thing, you know, the Junior Johnson pit crew is extremely fast, so they may be just riding it out. He's able to stay up front. The last thing you want to do when you're trying to protect the lead is get back where you get caught up in an accident.
Like maybe back here at 10th spot, Earnhardt, Schrader, Allison, and Terry Labonte are going at it.
You know, a while ago we were looking out Davy's back window, and there was Schrader back there riding around behind him. Since we've looked back, looked away, here's Schrader past Davy, and now trying to put the move on Earnhardt, so he's moving up through the field.
There goes Dale, way up there. Harry Gant ran that line all day yesterday.
Your car gets a real good run off the turn. You see Dale drive way in the corner, Schrader make a move. The key is, can the car catch up with him down the straightaway? There's Schrader out front. The question is, then that car on the outside pulls right back up there beside him. Shot out of Davy's car right behind all of it.
Back at turn 1, tight pack there for 10th place.
It's one of those deals where you say, I got him. No, I hadn't. Yeah, I believe I got him. It's back and forth, back and forth. It's an endless deal. Schrader cleared him now. And now he can take that other lane away from Dale. Once you take the lead, watch Schrader move up a little bit. He says, hey, you're going to have to go a little wider yet if you want to pass me now.
3rd place. Almost changed hands there as they worked lap traffic. Ernie Irvan, Bill Elliott, and Ricky Rudd had a run on Elliott there for 4th place. That's Jimmy Horton they're going past.
I'll tell you what, this track is notorious for having a lap a car. We saw the 3 of them in a big group. If one car clears the traffic getting in the corner, the other 2 get caught, they'll pull away 8 car lengths. You can lose so much distance on one lap car in the corner. It's really critical.
That's Jimmy Horton, Brett Bodines alongside, and right behind Mike Skinner, Glidden paint car. Elliott in 4th, Ricky Rudd in 5th.
You know, what you're seeing right now is pretty much like if we run a mile. You know, you start out, you don't start sprinting right away. They're finding out what they have to tell the pit crews and everything for adjustments on the first pit stop and to keep up. You can't get way behind because you get a lap down at this racetrack, it can be devastating.
These 2 guys are sprinting.
Well, yeah, they're racing each other out.
But doesn't this, too, help tell you what you've got and what you need?
Yeah, you know, if you run a car, say, 7/8 throttle, you got a little bit left, or maybe 7/8 pace. There, David got on by him that time. You don't really know how to tell that pit crew what kind of chassis adjustments you want to make. The only way to find out how to make it run flat out is to run it flat out and cater the car to the track, and they have to do that from the very start.
8th place, Jeff Bodine threads the needle between lap car Mike Skinner and Alan Kulwicki.
I wonder if they left Bud at home today. I think he was there last week and they lost. He may be back at Spartanburg.
Car owner Bud Moore, who owns the Jeff Bodine car. And here's Ricky Rudd under Bill Elliott.
They got together right there. Rudd got to run up on the corner. Thought he had him cleared, and they bumped coming off the corner.
Now tell me, both you fellas ran for teams that didn't run the whole circuit, didn't care about points. Do you give a guy that you know has got to be careful about points a little less room maybe when you're racing them hard?
Let me explain what happened there, though. There's a blind spot in the race car where the mirror, even when you look over, you don't see the nose of that car on that quarter panel over there. And he moved up. He thought he was clear. That's something you don't know how fast that car is coming off.
Okay. Kyle Petty, by the way, has lapped Richard. He's gone a lap down to his son, which you look from the King's roof cam. But I mean, in general racing situations, you take a little more liberties with a fellow that you know has got to count points.
I tell you what, even at drivers meeting, Mike, late in the season when it winds down to the last 4 or 5 races, they'll even say, hey, look, there's 3 or 4 guys in the point battle. You be sure if you bump one of them, you bump the other one. They'll actually tell you that. You know, don't you dare bump one of them guys says an accident unless you get the rest of them. So they emphasize the point to give them away. But the problem when you're in your race car, you always find yourself you're racing a red car, blue one, or a green one. And it's hard to say, well, hey, I can't. Why am I going to give that guy more than I'm trying to win this race?
Good point.
We got so many people needing to win races. The points battle could mean a hill of beans to those other guys. They were wanting to win.
This is 12th place. Earnhardt, Sterling Marlin, Terry Labonte, Harry Gant. New sponsor for Labonte next year. As Earnhardt in 12th place in that high line where Harry Gant isn't yet.
Harry will go even higher once he decides. The rest of them are going 6 feet off the wall. He'll get 6 inches off the wall when he gets ready. There he goes. Just as soon as we said, Mike, he's going to jump up there and try some of it.
We mentioned Labonte, who has the Sunoco sponsorship this year. He'll be the flaky guy next year. He's got Kellogg's cornflakes on it. Billy Hagan's car for 1993.
You know, that almost looked like a maneuver, Neil. He went high in the other corner and then passed Terry down low going in the corner there. So
any driver is suspect of surprise. You can't go in low. You always plan on him trying to pass you on the outside. He got by him and he got on back up there, but Harry's good at getting that car at the bottom. I know I've raced him a lot of times, you have too. That he'll root you around that bottom just as well.
So Harry Gant moves to 14th position behind Marlin, Earnhardt, and Gant. Richard Petty riding around the rock for the final time. Looks up to check that mirror and then concentrates on traffic ahead. We'll be right back to Rockingham.
Monroe introduces road sensing technology. A new breed of Monroe shocks and struts that give you added control. New road sensing shocks and struts, only by Monroe. Designed to adjust automatically to give you added control without sacrificing comfort. Now, comfort and control are automatic. New road sensing technology, only by Monroe.
What makes a mountain man a mountain man? Let's find out. Must a mountain man be a big burly guy with an axe? A man of steel? Must a mountain man even be a man? Actually, the only requirement is the right beer. Smooth bush beer or easy drinking bush light. So, head for the mountains and learn what makes the typical mountain man anything but.
In America, your car doesn't just get you from here to there. It's a part of your life. To give your car complete protection, Texaco has developed Haviland Formula 3 motor oil. With not one, but 3 kinds of protection against heat stress, starting friction, and engine dirt. Haviland Formula 3. Add more life to your car.
Folks in these parts think Tom Lawton is the best thing to ever turn a wrench. But back east, they'll put their money down on the guys at McClellan's. It seems in every town there's always one place that does a little bit better job fixing your car. And it seems the things they all have in common are great mechanics, great service, and Napa parts. Look for the sign of quality car repair. Napa.
TNN Motorsports exclusive live coverage of the AC Delco 500 is brought to you by Napa, because there are no unimportant parts. At the North Carolina Motor Speedway, 48 laps now complete. Kyle Petty has led every lap. Mark Martin, Ernie Irvin, Ricky Rudd, and Bill Elliott, the top 5. Brett Bodine, Rusty Wallace there. Jeff Bodine passed Alan Kawicki a few laps ago, and Kenny Schrader's moved up into the 10th spot. We're still showing 26 cars on the lead lap.
I thought I saw my truck and someone got me blocked in.
It could be. Rusty Wallace working on Wally Dollenbach Jr. Keystone car. In the back straightaway, somebody coming off pit road at the same time, Johnny McFadden.
Boy, Rusty's sawing on that steering wheel. He's working to get it up off the corner.
He's in 7th place, looking at that pack of cars ahead.
Look at the shifter down there, right by his right elbow. You see the shifter jumping around. We're talking about this is a smooth racetrack, but boy, the drivetrain in this place. You pull a lot of gear, you jerk it in and out of the throttle. This guy, it works the car over pretty tough.
Just ahead of Rusty, here's what he's seeing out that windshield. This race for 4th place. Ricky Rudd, Bill Elliott, and Brett Bodine all seem to have hit the setup pretty well for this opening run of green flag racing. Well, somebody's going to win $10,000 by leading the halfway lap here today. The Gillette Halfway Challenge is part of today's race, and you at home may have a chance to win a Chevy Lumina Z34 if you're called and can identify the driver who led the halfway lap and won the $10,000. New contest next week for the Phoenix Pyroil 500. To enter, write Gillette Halfway Challenge Box 2246 St. Petersburg 33731. You must be 18 or over, and they need your entry by next Saturday. Send in your name and phone number.
Boy, buddy, you're pointing at, buddy. The Brett Bodine is really closed in from a long way back, running Bill Elliott now.
Seems to have a little bit of chassis under the car. You notice he's taking a low line going in the corner. And Bill's hanging on right at the moment. It looks like he may have a little bit of chassis problem.
We're coming up to lap Greg Sachs. Coroner Larry Hedrick had made a full season deal with Sachs, and when he replaced him with Gabe Marcus, of course, still had to honor the contract. And after Charlotte, they said, well, you know, maybe this isn't the answer. They found some things about that car, changed a lot of things on it. Greg's back in it for here in the rest of the season.
There was Brett Bodine. He got the full count on Elliott, come down the corner, thought he'd be able to make there, and he used the car to Greg Sachs as a pick, as you say, and held him off right there.
You hear Neil now, he's starting to talk like you, Mike. The full count on him going in the corner.
I like that. This race is 6.5 seconds behind the leader. Remember, we're asking you today to vote for the driver among the top 6 in points that you think should be Winston Cup champion. About 45 minutes left to tally. Vote for one of those 6 drivers on our toll-free number, 1-800-451-7331. We'll take your questions later in the broadcast, but now we want you to practice up for Election Day. Here are the candidates. Not necessarily your favorite driver, but the one who you think should be Winston Cup champion. Just call in and vote by the name of the driver you choose. We'll announce the results later on in the broadcast. We want you to remember to vote November 3rd. So call in and vote right now for who you think should be Winston Cup champ. First place. You haven't seen much of Kyle Petty today as he laps Jimmy Means. It's because his buddy would say he has checked out, not of the hotel, but from the field. Paid his bill, signed the tab.
You know what, Mike? The sponsors pay to get on TV. And usually you got to run up front to get on TV. Kyle is running so good, we don't have time to show him. It's kind of stinking up the front of the race. The race is in the rear back there. Kyle is just literally driving away. There's nothing mellow about it, is it?
The mellow yellow Pontiac is 5 seconds ahead of the field. 12th place. Now he's up in the high groove. High groove handsome. Harry Gant. The Skull Olds going around Sterling Marlin, the Maxwell House Ford.
It's a little early, too. There's still about 430 laps to go.
Yeah, a little early for Harry to make his move.
Right.
Yeah. These guys are only 9 seconds away from Kyle Petty putting them a lap down. Maybe that's why Gant got the go sign.
The way Kyle Petty's running, he's in a position to put a lot of really, really good race cars down. And all these guys would like to see a caution and be able to make that chassis adjustment they're all want to do. If they don't, Kyle is going to bury some real good race cars. And as good as he is, it'll be hard to get a lap back from him.
We're going to go up and look at 6th place. We'll come back to this one in a moment. Here's 6th place. Brett Bodine with Big Brother right over his shoulder. Jeff Bodine, Rusty Wallace, and there goes the King to pit road. Uh-oh. Way too early for a scheduled stop. Only 58 laps into this race. Richard had been lapped under green, but perhaps felt he couldn't afford to spend any more time riding around out there without a little different setup and some fresh tires. Communicating by radio and getting a drink through a straw.
They didn't put a lot of wedge in the car and just didn't like that set of tires. They put one round of wedge in the right rear.
Yeah, the tires are so good. Well, the car is about a second quicker for the first 10 or 12 laps, and then it really fall off. It'll really pick him up for a while, but they must be going to make some chassis changes coming that quick.
Robbie Loomis and crew put more tires on Richard's car. Up to 3rd gear. Has to stay down below the white line there in turns 1 and 2. Report from the pit, rear spring problems on Richard Petty's car.
Well, I tell you, I don't know, unless there's a little bucket they set in when you jack the car up and set it back down, unless one of them's out of the bucket or something. But that's unusual for that to happen.
10th place now, Alan Kulwicki and Davey Allison. Kenny Schrader has passed that group. That's why this battle is for 10th.
I've had rear spring trouble before, buddy, but I've had the wrong ones in the car.
That's it. You know, I'm watching something. Davey moves up in the corner just a little more than Allen does, and he gets a little faster exit off the corner. That may be where everybody goes before long here.
These two drivers are only 8 points apart, 2nd to 3rd.
Davey trying him on the outside. Made him really swung off more, like Buddy said. Now, I tell you what, if he gets that 28 lined up and gets the butterflies open on that carburetor, it'll go down that straightaway. He's got a strong engine, and they just shot right by a quickie down the straightaway.
I love it when these guys do what I tell them to do. I just told you what he's going to do, and then he just motored right on by on the outside.
He was on cue, Eddie.
Brett Bodine and his brother Jeff have caught Bill Elliott. And Rusty Wallace has caught them. You're riding with Rusty.
And you know what happens? These spotters see Davey Allison do that, and each of them will tell their driver, okay, man, looks like the outside's getting a little bit quicker than down on the bottom. You'll see a bunch of them start to move up in just a second or two.
Caution free through 63 laps at the Rock.
You know, we saw this a while ago. Brett Bodine was able to run Elliott down. He got up there and challenged and couldn't get by. He's ran him down again, and he's still not able to get by. He's going to have to make a strong move to get around Elliott. Elliott's car's got a lot of motor in it. Here's what we're talking about, that lap traffic. Watch how much ground they'll lose going around one lap car. Well, Elliott's contending with a lap car off the corner also.
A lap past Jerry O'Neill out of Auburn, New York. We'll take a pause here with 65 laps coming up on the board. Kyle Petty. It's his 8th race this year he has led, and the 6th consecutive race at Rockingham that he has led at least a lap. He has been strong here. Kyle the leader. Mark Martin in 2nd. Ernie Irvin, Ricky Rudd, and Bill Elliott. And the rest of your top 10 back through Davey Allison.
John, how you doing? You know, AutoZone customers are pretty special. I mean, they take great pains in doing a job just right. So they know exactly what they want. That's why we carry so many parts. And also why we price them so low every day of the week. Because you gotta admire a guy who'll tackle a job like putting in a starter, a water pump, a rack and pinion. And you gotta give a guy like that exactly what he wants. The right parts and the right price.
Miller Genuine Draft. It's cold filtered. That's how we keep our commitment to everyone who knows that draft beer is real beer, pure beer, the best beer. It's why so many people can enjoy a beer whose taste hasn't been changed by heat pasteurization, and why so many people are making a change of their own to the genuine draft. Get out of the old, get into the cold.
In America, your car doesn't just get you from here to there. It's a part of your life. To give your car complete protection, Texaco has developed Haviland Formula 3 motor oil. With not one, but 3 kinds of protection against heat stress, starting friction, and engine dirt. Haviland Formula 3. Add more life to your car.
1988. We will be able to produce 30 million jobs in the next 8 years.
Under George Bush, more private sector jobs have been lost than have been created.
And I am an environmentalist.
The Sierra Club says Bush allowed his administration to, quote, gut clean air rules.
I want to be the education president.
George Bush tried to cut college aid for families making over $20,000 a year.
I want a kinder and gentler.
We can't afford 4 more years.
This is where America gets together. Every weekend throughout America, there is great NASCAR racing.
I wouldn't be anywhere else.
With 29 laps to go, Richard Petty made this pass on a young Bill Elliott to win the '83 Carolina 500, Richard's 196th career victory. It was one of 8 second-place finishes Elliott would enjoy before scoring his first Winston Cup win. Watching Richard Petty race as Alan Kulwicki comes to pit road at 70 laps, early for scheduled pit stops, but he found himself only 8 seconds from being lapped by Kyle Petty. 19.4 seconds to stop for 4 tires.
Sometimes when you go to race, you usually let your gasoline dictate how long you run on the racetrack. Sometimes when you come to a place where the tires aren't doing just what you want to do, the tires dictate those stops. Here's Earnhardt coming in. You might see some of these guys come in early for tires more so than fuel.
Same situation on the Earnhardt car, drifting back, only about 8 seconds from going a lap down. 4 tires and fuel.
Out of
cars to stop. Nobody's letting the jack screws. Everybody's wanting tires, so they must be giving up just a little bit on them.
The tires don't wear out here at Rockingham, but they'll only really hold that good adhesion to the surface for so long. The surface here is kind of like an old hat. It's all worn and real comfortable, but it doesn't have the tooth that new asphalt does. Glenn Jarrett.
I'm in Richard Petty's pit. This is Robbie Lewis-Acucci. That was an early stop, Robbie. What was the problem?
Yeah, we started the race with way late in the time. And we tried to stop a little early, help us spend extra time on the good tires. And tire wear is not a problem at all. Our car just started off tight. We hope now that everybody else has to pit, and then maybe we get a yellow. Give us a 10 or 15 lap edge on good tires over there.
That pretty well sums it up.
Richard Petty running a lap off the pace after that stop. Harry Gant going up high to try to get around him. Kyle Petty has led every one of the 74 laps so far as Terry Labonte comes to pit road. David Pearson in the spring of 1973 led 491 of 492 laps here.
Did he win?
Boy, I hope so. Yes, he did.
I just had to ask that question.
Lost the lead once on a pit stop. There's Gant, left side of your screen. Pick up the race for fourth, where Bill Elliott has moved on Brett Bodine. Jeff Bodine still working up the high side. 3 Fords.
But they've called Elliott. They've moved right up on his back bumper, so I've noticed one thing about the Bodine brothers. They don't give each other any quarters in racing. They race each other about as hard as anybody I've ever watched on the racetrack.
Pit stops for Dick Trickle and Jimmy Spencer as we continue under green. Terry Labonte made a stop. But among the front runners, no one has yet to visit pit road. That is, the cars running in the top 10.
That's a good indication, and they feel that the car is good enough. They don't need to stop yet. The ones that are dropping off and about to get lapped, they have to do something to get the car back into contention.
Now here's Rusty Wallace, who has caught those 3 Fords in his Miller Pontiac. Of course, as you've often said, catching them is one thing. Dealing with them is another.
What's Rusty worked this thing up off the corner? Really trying to keep the car down low, not flirting with that wall too much off the corner. He's had to work pretty hard to do that, buddy.
Well, I tell you, if you know this about Rusty and Rockingham, he's always in contention, and as they go along, he led a lot of the spring race here.
Look at your top 10. None of them have visited pit road. Sterling Marlin makes an in-and-out stop, as does Darrell Waltrip. Now, each of these cars making pit stops will go a lap down to Kyle Petty, who we don't expect to see on pit road until as late as lap 105 or 6.
You see Darrell Waltrip in the pits. He was the first car that we noticed that started running high on the racetrack. So he had a condition. Look, how many rounds was that, Neil?
He cranked some in the left rear. He tightened the car up. Darrell must have been a little bit loose.
Took a round out of the right rear.
Yeah, then cranking in one, out the other. Opposite way to put some bite in it.
And Darrell's away as Ted Musgrave comes to pit road. Waltrip stopped, 21 seconds. May not be long before Kyle Petty comes in.
I tell you, just looking over these guys' shoulders, whenever someone does put on new tires, they're passing the other guys like they're tied to a tree. So those new tires do make a real big difference.
That's it. Even though you're out on the racetrack, you're running well. You can't afford to stay out there too long. A lot of that advantage you gained will be lost.
But boy, I tell you where Kyle Petty's sitting really in the driver's seat, not only of that 42, but of this race, is he's able to go. There you see him waving right then. He's waving his hand. I don't doubt he's coming in this lap, because he was motioning to that car behind him. Hey, I'm slowing down. I'm going to go in. He motioned to the 7 car that he was coming in.
There he comes.
The first 26 cars on the starting grid are pitted on the front straightaway. The balance of the field on the backstretch.
Boy, I'm telling you, Rick Mast almost gave him one right in the tail then. That was something to watch there. I don't know how Rick Mast missed him.
The reason Mast was coming in so fast, he has the first pit before the speed limit goes into effect. Here's Kyle and Steve Evans there.
With Kyle Petty pitting under green, a number of those cars that lost a lap, but they also pitted without a caution for tires, are going to get that lap back. The bad news is when Kyle goes back out, he's going to have fresh rubber as well and will be double dangerous. So far, the stop going pretty true to form. Fuel, tires, down and out of here. Kyle Petty will try to catch the leader.
Brett Bodine, Rusty Wallace, Davey Allison, Morgan Shepherd, Ricky Rudd, Mark Martin, and Rick Master on pit road. Here comes Jeff Bodine and Kenny Schrader in this time. So most of the leaders have pitted. Mark Martin led a lap before he came in.
Here's that chassis. Look at them.
Look at
See
the brakes. Look at the brakes, how hot they are.
You bring those cars in here real hot on pit road. There's a jack down. Look at stuff on the ground just smoking coming off the car. That was the right front. They pull a tire off it. Boy, we got a little air on those brakes. Almost set on fire.
Ernie Irvin has become the race leader, and now he's headed for the pits as Mark Martin has his stop completed by Steve Neal and team, and he's back out.
After watching this, Neil, I know why I don't like to race a whole lot anymore.
Yeah, they punish that stuff pretty hard out there. They put a camera like this on Daytona, and it'll scare you to death to see the stuff that flies off of that wheel and everything going on in that suspension.
You can even see the rocks. That's a great camera, I'm telling you. You see the rocks coming off, going around, getting back out on racing surface. You can see the rocks flying up under the tire. Is that baby working now that that shock's hot?
Yeah, we come in on that shock absorber. You see that we have a little bitty indicator. It'll tell you if it's traveling an inch or inch and a half. But you always wonder, is it going in a bump or whatever? That camera could be very instrumental in setting up the chassis of a car.
It could that.
We've also got telemetry in the Mark Martin car. On the brake and off the throttle.
We should
back in it. Watch the rev counter.
We should see some good numbers here, Mike. He's on brand new tires. We should see a lot of RPM. You should have more RPM on this straightaway than you do the back. 8,400. It clicked up to 84. Okay, if we stay on it down the back straightaway, it's usually about a 200 RPM difference down the back straightaway. The big dog leg, we had 8,400. Should see around 81 or 82 down the back.
You see the shock jumping up and down there? I've seen it get so hot on the shock that it would turn that tower dark blue there. Yeah. That's how fast it's moving up and down.
Now watch the sparks as the brake is applied. Those heavy metallic pads, you see the sparks just shoot right out of there.
See, what people don't realize, the brake pads on these cars are actually metal. You actually wear the rotor out. The brake rotor wears out before the pad wears out. You replace rotors as often as you do pads. It's metal to metal. That's one reason we say drivers warm the brakes before they come into pits. They'll ride the brake pedal going down the back straightaway and make sure they'll stop.
87 laps are completed. North Carolina Motor Speedway. We'll be right back.
She's a national treasure. Join host Barbara Mandrell in an all-star lineup for Hats Off to Minnie, America Honors Minnie Pearl. Monday night at 8 Eastern on TNN.
In 2 years, the Red Cross has responded to more major disasters than ever in our history. But we depleted our reserves. We must raise millions of dollars to help disaster victims this year. Perhaps we helped you once, or a friend or a neighbor. If disaster strikes, we'll be there with food, clothing, and shelter. But we depend on voluntary contributions from people like you. Please help us today so no one is left helpless later.
Silver summer, silver time, silver line girl in the silver suit, looks so fine, silver bottom, silver top, silver fish, silver wish, come from here, right from here. Ooh, and it tastes so good. Cause life is alright here now. Cause life is alright here now.
A packed house at the North Carolina Motor Speedway. These aerial views from our Plasticoat aerial camera. Plasticoat, the winning finish in NASCAR.
I told you, there's my truck locked in. I might as well stay to the end now.
You'll be here till Phoenix.
Nice shot of the racetrack. I tell you, these people pack into this place simply because it's a strong race. These guys run hard the entire time.
Kyle Petty has a 10-second lead on Mark Martin. Ricky Rudd is third. Ernie Irvin, Alan Kulwicki, the top five. Three of the point contenders up there in the top five. Then Rusty Wallace, the Bodine brothers, Dale Earnhardt, and Terry Labonte, the top 10. Kyle Petty, the leader. Early reports with one precinct reporting from our toll-free number in Nashville. So far, those of you that have voted on our 800 number think that Davey Allison should be the Winston Cup champion. We'll still invite your votes for about the next half hour or so. Davey's only 1 second from being a lap down to this man, Kyle Petty, right now.
Boy, that's a terrible feeling. There's Davey. You can see him right in the shot. Maybe, you know, we're talking 1 second, but it looks like 8 car lengths. And the way Kyle's running, it's not going to take long for him to lap him.
Going past Jimmy Horton for the second time today. David Ip wrenching the Jimmy Horton car today.
Oh, Okay, there we see Davey Allison. That's Kyle Petty in the black car. The car in between looked like Derek Cope from this distance. But there's Davey directly in front of him.
10th place at stake here, Sterling Marlin and Harry Gant. Make that 11th place.
Gant gets a real good run off the top of that racetrack. Watch him go in here. He'll slide to the outside of the 22. He actually stays in the throttle a little bit longer. And then watch the run. He gets off of the corner. He'll run up on him so quick. He's either got to get out of the throttle or go to the inside. As they go in the corner, he'll just let his car right out to the outside of the 22 car. And he's trying to slip up on the outside of him. Go in there. He passing me. Make a loud of it. When he followed me, I always did the other way.
I think you'll see what he does down here.
2 of the drivers among the top 6 in the point chase have not led this race. Harry Gant has one, Alan Kulwicki the other. The other 4 top contenders have each picked up 5 bonus points. We're saying 6 contenders. There are 14 drivers that could mathematically win the point championship, but would require all 6 of these fellows to fall out of the remaining races.
You know, Mike, I'm watching something. When Gant wants to pass the car, he goes right down on the bottom of the racetrack. The minute he passes, he starts running high again. I think he may be just snookering him a little bit. He can run anywhere he wants to, but I think he's taking care of the tires and letting the racetrack roll him into the corner instead of pinching it down every lap.
Snookered me. I thought he was going to run high, but when you got the capability of a car to crank in the bottom like he did, he ran high, just cut it right under the 22 and drove by him. It'll be tough when the day's over. He can move that car high and low in this racetrack. Usually have the option of high or low. He's running anywhere right now.
Let's mention also that Davey Allison has not led this race. I'm corrected. Davey Allison, Gant, and Kulwicki have not led. Kyle Petty, Mark Martin, and Bill Elliott have. There's Elliott with Kulwicki and Dale Earnhardt. This battle for 8th place. They're only 7 seconds from being lapped by Kyle.
Man, that's incredible. I mean, this early in the race, you just don't even expect that to be happening.
Well, I think you could almost sense it in the garage here. Everybody said, oh, no, Kyle's as good as he was the time before. You keep thinking he'll come back one time, and he won't be that good at Rockingham, but every time they come here, he is.
It's something they found when Gary Nelson was the crew chief. They found something, and all of a sudden, that was the most dominant car on this racetrack. And I don't know whether it's Kyle's ability to understand that you don't abuse the tires or whether the car is that good, but something.
Harry Gant, talk about something good. He just motored past Alan Kulwicki on the low side, as you said.
And just as Buddy said, he'll slide right up high when he gets by him. He uses it all.
Well, one of these fellows is going to win the Gillette Halfway Challenge and $10,000. And if you have entered the contest and Gillette calls you after the halfway point in this race and says, who led that lap? And you can tell them you'll be driving a new Chevy Z34. You can enter to win next week's contest at the Pyrola 500 if you're 18 or over. Send your name and phone number to Gillette. Box 2246, St. Petersburg, Florida, 33731. Look at Bill Elliott from Richard Petty's car. As Bill went past.
Yeah, the cars ahead of him are getting off the corner better than Richard. You notice they pulled him about 2 car lengths from the center corner of the straightaway.
Elliott now trying to climb underneath Dale Earnhardt. There's Harry Gant looking out for Richard's windshield. The event of the year will be on TNN when Alabama salutes Richard Petty. A star-studded concert, 3 hours from the new Georgia Superdome. Saturday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, November 14th. On the night before Richard's final drive. Come celebrate with the King right here live on the Nashville Network.
Mike, you remember the days you could see a driver's face? Now everybody runs these helmets that they get fresh air from the outside, and it's really actually cool under all that stuff that Richard's got on there.
All that carbon monoxide through those times we used to wonder why we felt so bad after the race. That certainly helped us getting that carbon monoxide out of there.
Here's a fellow who's breathing pretty easy. High Groove Harry up there outside of Dale Earnhardt in that race for 9th place.
So right on around him.
Again, coming back to the front. Sterling Marlin and Greg Sachs right behind. The Scholes. Leo Jackson. Harry Gant up. Coming to the front. We lap. We say it's still a little early for Harry. We're only 104 laps into this thing. About a 5th distance.
Yeah, that's what's tough about running this race. It seems like an all-day affair. They'll call on the radio and say, oh, just 400 more to go. That's not what you want to hear. You feel like you've been driving for 2 hours already, and they say, well, you're a fifth of the way there.
Well, I can tell you why Harry's picked it up. Right behind him is Kyle Petty coming. And I'm sure the spotters have told him, you better get on the move here. We don't want to go a lap down this early.
Not and get lapped under green. Looking for Kyle in that picture. There he is, top of the screen briefly. About half a straightaway behind Earnhardt right now.
At the same time you were seeing that shot, he was up beside Davey Allison also. Fixing to put Allison on a lap down, and he doesn't need that.
Kyle Petty, the leader. Mark Martin, Ricky Rudd, Ernie Irvin, Rusty Wallace up into the top 5 after those pit stops. There's the rest of your top 10 back through Dale Earnhardt in 10th spot. We asked the ringmaster of Victory Lane, Unical's Bill Broderick, if Richard Petty was different than other drivers when he came to Victory Lane.
Whenever he came into Victory Lane, he always had to have a glass of milk, believe it or not. I don't care how rough and tumble race drivers. Richard wanted a glass of milk because of his stomach problem and 2 goodies. So if he was leading the race, you can bet your bottom dollar, we went out and we found some milk somewhere. We always, first thing out of the car, a glass of milk and 2 goodies for Richard.
A noble warrior advised, the art of protection springs from within. One must stay vigilant against one's unfragrant perspiration, lest one provoke a hostile response. Thus, a Norse ritual is Right Guard Sports Stick, an aromatic array of the freshest scents and maximum protection against disarming wetness. Confirming the wisdom, the best defense is not to offend. Right Guard Sports Stick. Anything less will be uncivilized.
When Darrell Waltrip needs a part, he needs the right part, and he needs it fast.
And when you need parts, see the parts team at Western Auto. We've got top name brands and thousands of parts in stock. Right, guys?
Right, DW.
And we've got the right price, backed by our low price guarantee, right?
Right, DW. And while you're at Western Auto, pick up Valvoline motor oil at a low Western Auto price. People who know, use Valvoline.
Western Auto, the official auto parts and service store of NASCAR. Right, guys?
Right, DW.
To demonstrate the incredibly realistic color of Kodak Gold Plus film, just open the box. No other print film captures a wider spectrum of colors at any speed. Kodak Gold Plus film, true colors, more colors.
Here we go again, guys. Wow, I feel good. Yeah, this guy really gets around. He's got the auto lights. American Orient Paul, we're guaranteed. I feel good. Yeah, 2 years, no matter how far he goes. That's why we've been everywhere. Vegas. I feel good. Yeah. Daytona. LA. Wherever we're going. The Superman, yeah. And we're not even tired.
TNN Motorsport exclusive coverage of the AC Delco 500 is brought to you by Autolite Spark Plugs. Guaranteed for 2 years no matter how far you go. 113 laps complete and only 13 cars left on the lead lap thanks to Kyle Petty. Third and fourth place, Ricky Rudd and Ernie Irvin. Darrell Waltrip's gone a lap down. And Irvin's closing in.
Closing in a hurry, too. Buddy was pointing out earlier, he was a good way back, and Buddy, he's reeled him in about 5 laps.
Yeah, Ernie's real strong here. He runs this racetrack well. But I'll tell you one thing. This doggone car of Kyle Petty's right now, the reason we're not showing him, folks, he's just checked out and went south on us.
It's good medicine for Felix Sabates, his car owner. Appendicitis in the Charlotte hospital. Has brought in a satellite dish to watch the race today, but he's not getting to see his car.
Well, he didn't bring a satellite dish. He brought a satellite trucking, and the hospital didn't have cable network, so he brought in a satellite truck, parked it out front, and they put a cable in his room, and Felix is watching this thing. He should be enjoying it. Good medicine.
I said yesterday, I hope they only took out his appendix and not his wallet.
Yeah, but I told you, they said it was minor surgery. That would be major when they do that.
In the point battle, 6th place point man Kyle Petty is just lapped. 3rd place point man Alan Kulwicki.
Fixing to lap Earnhardt right here in the same lap.
Now, what else is important about this? If Kowicki's a lap down. He won't get to lead a lap, and Kyle's already picked up 5 points for leading, as has Mark Martin and Bill Elliott.
I'll tell you, that's impressive. You see that, Neil? I mean, he don't care whether he has to go up higher or not. That car is flying. It's hooked up.
What happens is when you get a lap down, you say, well, I got a chance to get it back. But if Kyle continues to run the way he's running, it's going to be hard for anyone to get a lap back. When he puts you down, you're going to be there unless he falls out of this race.
In fact, he's on his way to getting 10 bonus points for leading the most laps.
There goes Harry Gant by Bill Elliott now. He's hooked up. I guess they got a word to him and said, hey, you got problems in the rearview mirror if you look up.
Elliott, the point leader, Gant 5th in the points, making the pass.
Well, he's trying to put a move on him.
Let's give you a Napa Field standing update brought to you by Napa, because there are no unimportant parts. Show you where your favorite driver was running as of just a few minutes ago. Elliott likes that top group pretty well too.
Yeah, you notice how much faster he's running off the corner than Gant, because Gant's having to pinch his car down to get through the corner. See, it looked like he's by him. Now watch this 11 car just walk right on back up in front.
Yeah, it just bogs the motor. When you're on the inside line, it actually bogs that motor down coming off the corner. It takes a minute to get the thing wound up again.
You know, if I'd have been this smart when I was driving, I'd probably won more. What do you think?
This armchair quarterback stuff's a lot easier, buddy, I promise.
You know where I think we first really saw this little phenomenon on the super speedways was Michigan. Whoever run that top groove and just kind of sail out around the front grandstand and leave the guy on the bottom with what was supposed to be the line, wondering what happened.
Well, here's what happens. Let's stay on here just a minute.
Let's go to Glenn Jarrett.
Well, Mike and Neil, one of the things you guys are talking about, that high line that Harry Gant is running, and the fact that when you're down on the bottom of the racetrack, get back in the gas, it bogs the thing down. Let's look back and remember how good a gas mileage Harry Gant gets. That's one reason he's running that high line. He doesn't have to get back in the gas as hard. He doesn't use as much fuel when he runs the high line around the racetrack. He's not using as much gas, so therefore he gets better gas mileage. May be a factor later on, particularly if this thing continues to run under the green.
Third place, Ernie Irvin, who has led 1 lap today. First time he's ever led a Winston Cup race at Rockingham, has just moved to 3rd.
They're not worried about gas mileage, those two guys. They're racing pretty evenly, racing as a matter of fact. They took him a what, 20 laps to pass him?
Yeah, they were a good indication. The two of those guys raced side by side. They ran Walter down and drove by him earlier. They raced side by side for several laps, and Darrell was able to keep up. And now that they're in single file, they'll probably pull away from Walter now.
Irvin to 3rd behind Kyle Petty and Mark Martin. Richard Petty back on pit road.
Once you get out of sync on those pit stops, we saw him pit early for tires because the chassis wasn't right. Now Richard's going to be pitting out of sync. There he is on sitting on pit road. That'll put you out of sync for the entire day until you catch a caution and get back in sync with them. When there's no caution, you're paying the price right now. You're sitting on pit road again.
Down and away. We are caution-free thus far here at Rockingham through 122 laps.
If we follow Richard down the pit, I want you to watch something at the far end down here. It's like a ramp where you go out. You really have to have the car pretty straight there. It'll jump sideways when you're going out of the pit.
Pick up this battle for 3rd again with Irvin and Rudd.
There's Gant still working on Elliott. He got up there, raced him, couldn't get by. It looked like he settled down. Here he goes, trying him back on the inside.
The reason it's taking him so long, folks, Bill Elliott's in the Harry Gant's groove right now. He can't get up there where he can really get going.
Look, Gant left a little bit early now. They should have enabled him to get right on back in the throttle. This might be a good chance for him to get right up beside him.
Now watch this 11 car right here, just motor right back line.
You know, they don't stop fooling around. Just 4 seconds behind them is Kyle Petty.
I promise you, both of those guys know it. They're telling him on the radio. That's the reason Gant says, boy, if I could just get on by Bill, I'd go on. And Bill's wanting to keep somebody between him and Elliott, so they're battling pretty tough. Yep.
There's the race leader coming. We're asking you to call in and tell us who should be the Winston Cup champion from among the point leaders. Bill Elliott, Davey Allison, Alan Kowicki, Mark Martin, Harry Gant, and Kyle Petty. It's a free call. Who do you think should be Winston Cup champion? We're trying to get you practiced up for going to vote on Election Day, November 3rd. Don't call in for Ross Perot. Just these 6 drivers. And please remember to vote on Election Day. That's your duty as an American. And we feel very strongly about that. Exercise your franchise to vote. Early returns have it pretty close between Bill Elliott and Davey Allison right now on our TNN phone-in vote. So cast yours. Within the next half hour, we'll announce the results a little later and a little more practice at this in Phoenix.
Well, there, Bobby Hamilton really qualified well. We thought he'd run good in the race, and he just fell back. He's way back in the pack now. He's in 25th place, just having a lot of troubles.
Kulwicki and Terry Labonte going past. At Rockingham, 128 laps go up on the board. It's been all Kyle Petty. He's led all but about 4 laps. Mark Martin in second, Ernie Irvin, Ricky Rudd, and Rusty Wallace. And still